I am in the less than enviable position of playing with the Twitch settings for transcodes. Looks like we are good to go though, so this makes me happy. I'm going to take a quick second here and kill my browser because I know for some games things like Chrome or Firefox really mess with my ability to get a consistent frame rate. And we'll be ready to jump into Stellaris. Now, if memory serves, I probably should have checked this before I took out the browser. I think this might be available for a reasonably good price on Humble. And let me just take a quick second here and double check that. So I don't normally like hawking stuff. And I mean, this is... especially at this point in the broadcast, I'm actually kind of starting on time, except for the fact that I was recording a Morrowind episode. So tomorrow's Morrowind episode is going to be a bit short because I was getting ready to start here. I pretty much stopped recording that around 7, but there were some problems in terms of just getting the transcodes, you know, enabled and generally having everything set up. So of course, for those of you maybe watching on a VOD, or for those of you here early on, you might have to hear this a couple of times, but particularly in terms of Twitter, I really do not like blasting out a lot of affiliate links in that. If you want my opinion about the affiliate program I like the most, it is actually the Epic one. I also appreciate that this is the one that people have the strongest negative feelings about. And so to accommodate that, I got Humble, which, to be honest, was not something I really wanted to do. And the funny thing is that for all the talk about how, you know, it was, you know, I would do X except that it's Epic, Humble hasn't really been taken up as much, which is completely fine. Obviously, it's people's choice in terms of what they want to do. Namely, there's a lot of other streamers who do have Humble affiliate links, and so it's possible that people might be supporting creators that they want to credit with a link as well. So there's lots of different reasons why those things will happen. But with that in mind, there's a couple that I'd like to draw to your attention because in my case, it's either something that I think is relevant to this stream, or it's one that I happen to think is a reasonably good deal. So the first one is there is currently the Best of Paradox Interactive Bundle. So I have everything in Canadian dollars. So if you pay $1.34 or more, this will give Warlock Master of the Arcane, which I've never heard of, Age of Wonders 3, which I actually quite like, and Europa Universalis 4. Now this makes me wonder if there's going to be a Europa Universalis 5 coming out reasonably soon, if this is kind of the bottom tier of a Humble bundle. But one of the reasons why I want to highlight Europa Universalis, I don't know if it's been rolled out to sort of the main population yet, but this is one of these ones which has lots of DLC and people find it an impediment to getting into the game. At least in my case, I don't know if I was opted into sort of the randomized trial or whatever, but it looks like they're experimenting with a subscription-based sort of DLC policy with that, which is that if you pay a monthly subscription, you get access to all of the DLC. So obviously I can't guarantee that. If that is kind of the deciding factor for you to pick that up, you know, do your homework. Although again, for $1.34 Canadian, I think Europa Universalis is a perfectly enjoyable game at that price on its own. Now, I was mildly tempted to pick up this tier because while I own most of the games in this bundle, there's the average, which is currently $8.86 Canadian. Again, if it's US, probably knock off about 25% of that. Stellaris is included. Now again, this is base Stellaris, this isn't any of the extra DLC, but this is probably the best deal that you have going for a copy of Stellaris right now. In addition, you get the Victoria collection. Now, Victoria is probably one of the older Paradox games that's still kind of in circulation, that people are still playing. So kind of keep that in mind. I know there's a lot of demand for Victoria 3 and whatnot. I have a feeling that this is pretty much priming itself to become another Imperator situation where everybody has a really clear idea in their mind about how awesome the sequel is going to be, and then they're going to wind up disappointed by the reality. But with that in mind, it's always nice to see new Paradox games. Whether or not Victoria actually happens, I don't know. Obviously, I said that I thought Crusader Kings 3 was the most likely game to come out. It turns out it was Imperator that was the first one to come out. But we know CK3 is coming up in a couple of months. And then finally, Necropolis Brutal Edition. Now, that's the one that I'm kind of most interested in and why I might buy that myself, because I don't have it. And it was, I believe it's the only Harebrained Schemes game that I haven't played. So I think for the Stellaris angle, the bundle's pretty good on its own. Finally, if you pay $16.10 or more, again, this is in Canadian dollars, you can get a copy of BattleTech Digital Deluxe Edition and Tyranny, which are probably two of my favorite Paradox published games, ones that are not by the development studio. I thought BattleTech was excellent, and I think Tyranny was highly underrated. I actually much prefer Tyranny to Pillars of Eternity, although, of course, the world of Pillars of Eternity is certainly getting a breath of fresh air with the reveal of Avowed in the new in the Microsoft sort of press conference replacement E3. Finally, the last tier of this bundle is Imperator Rome itself. So that's $22.81 Canadian or more, and that would be kind of a more recent Paradox game, which I feel like I really should be going back to. But I'll be honest with you, like if it sounds like I ran out of steam, it's not that I dislike the later games. You know for a fact that I have a tremendous fondness of BattleTech in particular. But the easy thing that I can say is that that particular bundle, especially for less than $10, being able to access Stellaris is a pretty big deal. If you want me to give a link, just I'll put it in chat if you ask. I believe there should be a link for me down in my description, and I'll try and make sure for the YouTube video that I'll put a link on there as well. Now, unrelated to gaming, but one thing I thought I would draw to your attention as well for Humble. One thing I should mention too is that Humble's done a little, it's not exactly a shady thing, but I rather wish that they would have done this differently. It used to be that they were really explicit with the sliders in terms of where you can direct the money. So if you want 100% to go to charity, you can do that. If you want it to go towards a Humble tip, like you would be really explicit in terms of where the money was going. They actually have default settings now, and you have to click the little triangle to open it up, which means that basically more people are being defaulted into those settings, which of course means that there's a certain amount going to Humble. And I always preferred the more transparent approach that they took. So there is a financial interest to me in you guys using those getting those bundles and using my affiliate code. You can actually direct however much you want of what you spend towards me. And obviously, I would love every last penny. But I think the better idea here is that you focus, like that you pay or distribute what you think is appropriate, as opposed to just the default that Humble wants. That does include, and I do really mean this, if you want 100% to go to charity, I think that is a very reasonable perspective. And if you're using my affiliate link, I do not at any time expect you to have a certain amount going towards me. I think that's a decision that you need to make. If I'm going to be a little bit irked by the fact that Humble is sort of opting people into default values, I very well can't turn around and say that, yeah, but I'm a very deserving individual. Take that money away from a charity and put it in for me. So I'll leave it to you to decide where you want to put those. But that's one big incentive for me to hawk those bundles. The other one, of course, is stuff that I think is worthwhile, which is usually the only time I'm going to mention them. I'm almost at the 10-minute mark too, so I need to hurry this up. The other one is the O'Reilly bundle. Now, I used to be a really big fan of O'Reilly Publishing. Then they kind of stopped selling their books on their own and sort of hid them behind this Safari subscription, which is really expensive. But I do notice every once in a while there will be a Humble bundle which includes some O'Reilly books. Now, you got to be a little bit careful about which ones are included inside of these because, so if you don't know what O'Reilly books are, these are these ones which, for the longest times, they had these sort of etchings of different animals. I think probably the most famous one was there was like a camel for a Pearl book. This one seems to have a different cover now. Oh no, it's because it's Learning Pearl, not... But yeah, I think probably the Pearl Camel book is probably the most famous one. They've sort of changed the design now. I noticed that they're using a few more color. I think there's still illustrations, but it looks like there's a little bit more color going on, which is fine. I mean, they've kind of been using the same format for, I guess, since like the turn of the century. But the reason I'm mentioning this here, this one really caught my attention. There's some stuff that inside of the bundle which I may be not too enamored with. So for instance, there's one called Think Julia, How to Think Like a Computer Scientist. Now, if it's Alan Downey's book, I know at least his Think Complexity and Think Stats books were ones that were available for free online. So the fact that you're, paying a bit of money for that doesn't really mean a whole lot. And for me, like, I'm sure Scala, Go, and Perl are very interesting languages, but I don't have any personal experience with them. However, and again, this is at the top tier, so this may not be something you want on your own. There is a book in this bundle, and again, it's at the top level, so you're paying about $20.50. Queel, thank you very much for the subscription. Sorry, sorry, it's all selling at the start, but I'm just getting the PSA out of the way on this one. I'm actually just finishing this soon, then we'll distribute a few workers, and then we'll actually get on with the game. But there's a book that I'm actually quite fond of called Fluent Python. So again, this is assuming that you're a Python programmer, but I thought this is a pretty good in-depth one which talked about Python as a language in its own right and the things that make it a unique and interesting language. So things like list comprehensions and maybe some particular quirks about how certain concepts within the language work. I actually think it's a very good one where if you sort of know how to bash together some lines of code, but you want a better understanding of how how it all fits together and maybe take your programs to the next level. I actually think Fluent Python is a very good book, and I think the copy I got, I think, has like a price tag on it for $70. I know I didn't spend that much, but that is not a cheap book. There's some other things in as well: programming Rust, C# 8.0 in a nutshell, learning Java and whatnot. The thing is that there's going to be like a different language, and in each tier, there's probably going to be something that speaks to you that maybe doesn't speak to me. But there's the two sets of O'Reilly bundles that Humble does for me. There are the ones where it's like, okay, this is all stuff I already own, or this is stuff that is really old and I can probably find for $5 in a bargain bin somewhere. This is one of the bundles where Fluent Python is 100% a book that I would recommend for people who are looking to improve their Python. Not that I'm in a position really to tell people how to improve their programming. Yeah, between that, if you want Stellaris, there's a good deal with Stellaris, and if you want programming stuff, there is a reasonably good bundle with O'Reilly. And I've now said all of those details. And again, thank you very much for the Twitch subscription, Quiel. That's a very nice way to start the evening. So let's take a look at where we're at in the Empire. So we've got a specialist, right? So I think this is all of my... I believe this is all of my sort of robot buildings coming offline. So I think I have enough. Yeah, we definitely have enough exotic gases to be able to bring that in. I actually think I'll take the specialist from Mavel Prime and I'll move them in right away. So there's going to be a little bit of work that I need to get done here, but nothing too catastrophic. Now these guys, I might have to change things around a little bit. Let's really? I didn't even think that there might be free jobs and it was a specialization question. Okay, that's good. Meneth they'll build themselves into the situation they need. We're good for Meskaban, Obasiak. All right. So first thing, of course, is that we've got tons of available jobs here. So how are we on volatile modes? We're doing very well there. So I'll bring 3 online, and for regular workers, I think at this point I'm gonna cram them wherever I can fit them. So join them. The other thing that I need to keep in mind too is I need to make sure that I've organized everything to be able to. I need to make sure that I've actually built and organized things so that I'm able to incorporate the growth. Like these planets have not stopped. They're not going to stop generating new workers. So I'll get 2 new workers from the city district. I can't remember if I destroyed a district for that or not. Easy answer here is let's upgrade the commerce megaplex. And I know that if we're at a shortage of 8 housing right now, I'm only going to get 1 for each city district. We're definitely going to need another, so we might as well get another replacement in. So these workers will be taken care of. PL, unless I want to start changing... Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so I'm going to resettle this worker for sure. We'll put them on Mavel just because there's free slots. But what's really interesting about this world is when you look at... So we've got 8 housing available, and each district creates 8 housing. So we're actually right on the edge here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to replace this district. I'm going to replace it with a generator district. So we won't lose the 2 jobs, but we are going to even out as far as the housing is concerned, which is nice. Hantaron Prime, so we are short workers. That'll be taken care of. Okay, so this will more or less take care of itself once the housing comes online, although it is maybe worth noting... I mean, I guess the one thing I could afford to do would be to undo the Paradise Dome in favor of some other building. I also feel like probably getting rid of the Hollow Theaters at some point would be a good idea. But for now, in 71 days, the unemployment will take care of itself. How about this refinery world? Well, definitely upgrading to the System Capital Complex is the first fix. After that, I'm not so sure. Bleg, so they're building alloy megaforges. Looks like we don't really have... Oh no, but it's specialist unemployment, so they'll be taken care of. We'll actually build a second set, just because I can, really. Alright, now these are the ones that are going to be a little bit of a nightmare. So these are all of these orbital habitats and just the general madness that I was dealing with. I'll admit, I've not really done orbital habitats before, so I was caught off guard in terms of exactly how, how space and all of that works here. So I don't believe there's any further upgrades. You're right. So there's nothing else we can do to make space. Because it's a mining station, I probably want to focus on, generating what I can, really. We don't really need more unity, so at this point I either need minerals or I need trade value and amenities. I'm actually kind of okay splitting it between the two. Then of course I have my extra building slots too. Well, they've got a Ministry of Production, so... And of course I built a Galactic Stock Exchange as well. So it seems to me at this point, it's a combination of alloy megaforges and commercial districts. So I'm definitely going to need at least one more of these. And let's just come clean and say it's going to be trade that I generate. So with that in mind, I think I'm actually going to go for the Megaforge. And this is just because the commercial centers are going to produce lots of jobs, which means I'm going to need lots of housing. Whereas the Megaforges also will eventually, they'll eventually take up 8 jobs, as opposed to the 10 for the commercial zone. So I'm still ahead there. But I need to kind of keep the balance of workers in mind. That was the last stream name, Miles 4K. Welcome, by the way. Great to see you. All right, Ogle's Dutch. Right. We have so many people, and I haven't quite figured out. So, like, at some point, I basically need to just have a mass migration off of this world. I am tempted to do the anti-crime campaign. Yeah, let's do it. Okay. So 10 food is nice and all, but I don't really need it. And at this point, I kind of need to find space for everything. So let's start with demolishing that. Now, I would like more administrative points. The question is whether or not this is the best thing that I can be building right now. Also, I'm selling... Okay, actually, you know what? This is not as hard as it should be. So, I'm going to dismantle... Now, I mean, this is going to create a whole bunch of unemployment problems, but I have some ideas for that. Okay, so I've got a whole bunch of mega forges that I can bring online pretty quick. This is 8 jobs. 2. That can't be right. I actually genuinely don't remember how many. Okay, let's say it's at... We'll say it's 1 for now. You get federations, you have no DLC. Federations are pretty good. I think the consensus seems to be that Utopia is kind of the must-have. But honestly, keeping in mind that, of course, I was given a key for this for for promotional purposes, I think there is something to be said for the fact that I started off in a really tough. I started off in a really tough position, and I was able to sort of Canada my way out of the problem. That's a pretty fantastic addition to the game, in my opinion. The Federation mechanics are really interesting, and the fact that, I mean, essentially now I'm at the point where I want to try and take over the Federation from inside and effectively vassalize, someone who used to be so much stronger than me. I think it's all well and good to sort of pass down the received wisdom. But I think there is something to be said for just how much Federations has really contributed to the game. But you already know I'm pretty much going to like every DLC that I play. So, all right, so we've got 5 metallurgist jobs. It'll go up to 8 when I upgrade it. So that's 3, 6, 9 new jobs. So 12, 15, 18. That can't be right. Oh, we only had 13. Okay, good. So that's obviously going to take a while for them to come online, but we'll be taking... They'll be in good hands. Oh, we can do another upgrade there. Oh, nice. How are you enjoying Inward Perfection? Inward Perfection is something that took me a while to try, but I actually had a lot of fun with it when I did it. All right, now we still have 20 jobs unaccounted for. So there's a side of me that just wants to spike the commerce megaplexes. But let's see. Okay, I definitely want a reactor district. So yeah, let's think about this for a minute. I've got a Ministry of Production. it is cool that I'm getting so much more of my alloy nano plants, but there's other ways that I can do that. On the other hand, it's the Commerce Mega, like the Commerce Megaplex, I can cut my population problems in half, so... Again, we'll specialize where we can. Okay, so... Got a reactor district. I would have got them to build the habitation district, but looks like I can't, so we'll leave that be for now. But with a habitation district coming online, I'm going to be short 12 spots, and I know I'm going to need to move. I believe I'm where I need to be. So now really it's just a question of pushing these guys off world. Now there's gonna be consequences for this. That can't be right. Okay, I do have unemployment trap. Okay, let's see what I'm working. Oh god, alright. I forgot, I have to actually double check that this stuff is right. So, Cador. Cador does not have... Oh, but what about Cador Secundus? Yeah, okay. So that was a lie. This will be taken care of. Meneth will also be taken care of. Mescaban will be taken care of. Obasiac, definitely. Joinum, yes. In fact, we probably are going to have a surplus. Hanatron, let's leave them alone. Aswiri will be taken care of. Beleg, yes, they're fine. Ugglestatch, it's really just a question here of the rulers. There's not a lot that I can do about that. Menjus, they are short. I suspect this will be handled as soon as the habitation district's built. This will be taken care of with the specialists. Alright, actually these are all very straightforward problems to deal with. I am a little surprised. So yeah, we're already building our way into here. Myram. Yeah, at this point we just don't know what we want to build on these slots. So perhaps beyond the fact that I can't actually move people onto these worlds yet, we're doing pretty well for ourselves. Question is, what do I want to build on this world? I definitely have a lot of unemployment that I need to take care of. We are... So they produce a lot of alloys. I guess in this case I'd probably want a Ministry of Production. Oh no, because I don't have jobs that generate that. Yeah, this is really just a paradise world, so... Alright, well, I guess I will upgrade the luxury residences then. And we will build... Class A Singularity, yeah. Normally I'd want to try and amplify the production, but there's really no production to boost here. I mean, for lack of a better option, I'm actually tempted to put an administrative center here, which seems a little silly. The only way you get DLC content is by taking over Ecumenopoli and consecrated Gaia worlds will fall empires. And I guess I didn't even think of that that option. Yeah, because I mean, my experience is totally different. I've basically been playing, you know, whatever is new, as soon as possible. Okay, this is pretty straightforward. We'll bang out a couple of mega forges. Although I suppose there's the question: how am I going to house everyone? So let's start. Again, we don't need so many farms, so 3 city districts for now. We'll be fine actually. And then Prophet's Retreat, which for some inexplicable reason is a mining world. So let's change that designation for now. We'll make this energy focused. We've already got this upgrade, so yeah, I guess now at this point the question is what's their specialized industry and how many bodies can we get on here as quickly as possible. Both questions which will be answered after the planetary administration comes online. So as much as it pains me, I actually think I'm gonna have to leave some of these workers hanging. Well, here's what we'll do. So Glukdor looks like it needs sort of a basic level job. So I'm going to try and get as much of the unemployment on. No, wait, no, Obasaic is not the one. At a station. Oh, come on. So yeah, Sky Temple. Oh well, it was just Sky Temple. Okay. So if I can, let's try and get as many things off of Sky Temple as I can. The question, of course, is what types of jobs are available. So Cador Prime, I don't actually think has that free slot. Nope, yes it does. Again, sorry about the time this is taking, but unbelievable. I'm just gonna live with it. These guys are gonna be handled. I'm actually just gonna, instead of relying on the tools, I'm actually just gonna take a look at the number here. We may be in the rather uncomfortable position where I've made too many robots and I don't have enough available jobs for my population. Okay, that's good for Tech World. Okay, I can definitely use a new clerk. Again, every little bit helps. I mean, these are the Fallen Empire. They're allowed to be unemployed. Again, this is bizarre to me because it just said that I had a clerk job available. I actually saw one with a very tempting 3. Precursor jobs, okay. So, I suppose that means I guess this is something specific for... guess this is something specific to the species, which sort of makes me wonder whether or not I should just bulldoze it in favor of something else. But that seems a little uncharacteristic with my xenophilic species. We're not exactly the sort of people to bulldoze religious monuments because we have different ideological views. So yeah, I'm a little worried about the overall employment situation. I actually think I'm going to need to have a serious think about how I'm going to build the rest of my empire. I also think that's going to be something that I have to deal with over time. So I don't like ignoring stuff like that, but it's really my best option here. Now, I got to be a little careful about this. Actually, I wonder if the expansion planner lets me. No. Basically, what I want to be doing now is I want to be getting as many franchises built as I can. Because it's a nice little dump for my influence, which I'm generating too much of all at once. The problem, of course, is that I've already saturated a lot of my allies, and I might actually be betraying some of them before too long. So I don't have a better... I really don't have a better way of determining this. I'm actually just going to click and verify that, that we've got franchises everywhere we need. Uh, 1785. Yeah. Now the question is, what do I need? I'm kind of tempted for the extra diplomat. Yeah, why not? And you know, if I can get something that generates energy, this might be the best. Nope, but Mercenary Liaison Office might be the next best. Oh no, the Amusement Megaplex. Produces 10 energy and 10 amenities. Tough call. I'm actually going to start some Mercenary Liaison Offices because, well, normally I wouldn't go for it. I think we're at a point now where I need every little bit of naval cap that I can pick up. So, like I said, this is going to be a little tedious while I get myself established. But the good news is, once this is all built, I don't need to think of it again. Looks like I did a pretty good job of bombing them with franchises. We're also getting a little short on money, so... Okay, I think I'm going to leave the branch offices for now, just while I reload, and then what we'll do is I'll kind of in each phase, as I'm trying to wear down my influence, Oh, I should also figure out what I'm doing with my fleets before I unpause. I think as time goes by, I'm going to make sure that those yes, I believe I was going to subjugate the cooperative of Menjusana when it came down to it. I am, however, going to need to wait because our borders are now closed. Oh yeah. No, I remember exactly what was going on there. Also, this science ship, I don't think has anything useful to do, so I need to find the next spot. I need to find out where... Okay. So they're assisting in Waleas, Mavel, Mescaban, Ydra, Sol. Let's find out where all the science is happening. So Glagluff. That's amazing. So I have... Wait, but this is Sol, which has already got... Yeah. So I actually think it was that earlier one that... Well, Ugglesdetch if I have to, but I think we have a better option. It was... this Tundra world. Which you would not have normally associated with a top-tier science field, but there you have it. Construction ship doesn't have anything to do right now. I guess we already have one parked there. Send him home to Mavel. Yeah, and the big problem right now is I don't really have any good ideas about how to get all my fleets together. So I'm just going to hope I gave them sensible orders at the end of last stream, and I'm going to wait for these engagements to wrap up before we move on to the next phase of our master plan. Of course, the good news is, if I take a look at victory, we are well within striking distance of a win. If I just sit on my hands for about, what is it, 77 years. Well, closer to 76. But that's not really the best way to do that. So at this point, I'm gonna blast through the speed. I really need to wait for these wars to finish, and I don't have any way of controlling that myself. So as long as we keep producing what we need, as long as we keep building what we need, I kind of just I need to let nature take its course. It occurred to me, instead of kind of doing the debrief for the week's announcements or whatever at the start of a stream, really the opening moves, particularly for this Djomar play,
Research
probably
concluded.
Take up enough on their own that I could stand to just rein that in a little bit. Transgenic crops offer the nutritional elements of several standard food crops in one conventional package. So, as always, we try and go for the cheapest tech. It doesn't always work out that way, but we will go for the extra edict duration. So again, there's some efficiencies within the way that I've built the Empire, particularly with regards to Unity. We are generating more Unity than we can possibly spend in any one period. And clearly when I'm, overdoing it on Empire Sprawl, when I need more starbase capacity, when I need more naval capacity, all of these are things that I could just generally improve my position with. But it also is something that would be very time consuming to deal with. Right now we are in the black in all of my different measures. So I'm gonna live with what I've got here. Increasing the speed at which fighter pilots can process and act upon enemy positioning data elevates strike craft a few steps up the food chain. So our next engineering research will be anything but synapse interceptors. Let's go for kinetic weapon damage. Also, just taking a quick look at some of my decisions. So the Arcology project. Do I have... yeah, actually, here's a question about the Arcology projects. Do I have anything ready to go to pave over? So I'm going to do just a... This is just going to be a quick audit. Technically, Vanico might be a candidate, but the problem is, of course, I would have to figure out what to do with all these agriculture districts that I just got rid of. Also, you are looking for clerks. All right, so here is a problem with that world. Actually, that's not that big of a problem. Yes, it is a problem, actually. I didn't know what I was going to do with that. Okay. It's a start. I also keep forgetting that with the devastation... oh yeah, actually, this is a lot easier than I thought. Well, okay, I'll leave it be for now. I might kill this Paradise Dome and wind up building a mall instead. Which sounds like a very American thing. Okay, we've got a bunch of city districts coming up. I might as well just admit that I'm going to do that upgrade. Condeus, all right, you've got your entertainment studios. I think in this case we're going to do more mercenary liaison offices in favor of getting our naval capacity up. Menjusana, we still haven't figured out what I'm doing with you yet, have we? Oh no, because it's a new one. You know what? Screw it. We're already we're already committed. If I want to go really crazy, I can... There's a whole lot of defensive platforms that I can build. When I say a whole lot, I'm going to show you what I mean in a second. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could pop in another hydroponics. Well, let's do it. Save me building farms. I think I also built a whole bunch of deep space black sites under the illusion that I would somehow need them, but I definitely am not in need of the... Oh, that's definitely I need a naval logistics office. I'm surprised that I didn't build one already. Again, it's tedious to go through stuff like this, but it is very important to take the time. So yeah, there's a couple things. So like when I build a deep space black site, particularly when I'm generating such a surplus of Unity, one thing that I might want to consider would be, it's like, okay, so we're at a point, you know, we're generating a nice healthy surplus of food, and I know we've got a fairly manageable growth rate in terms of in terms of the pops or something like that. Or what's another example that I could give? You know, our Unity, again, Unity is the best example here, because the rate at which I'm growing Unity, I could do every single Unity-based edict and still not generate enough, still not spend enough to make it so that this is not a constantly increasing number. I simply cannot spend enough Unity in this playthrough right now, unless there's some kind of a Unity sync that I'm not aware of. So one of the things that I may want to consider at some point is to say, it's like, okay, well, I built these deep space black sites. I don't really have any defensive need for some of these stations, so I don't want to replace them with like a targeting computer or something like that. But maybe what building these black sites will let me do is to take some of those planets with hollow theaters and, you know, put malls down so that I can have some more worker jobs. Or maybe I can get some more alloy foundries out of it or something. I mean, in this case here, I'm currently setting on 50k alloys. What I really want to be thinking about right now is what mega structures am I building. But, which reminds me, I do have a free ship right now, so let's answer that question, shall we? So, Sentry Array, expanded sensor sites, Science Nexus. Okay, so Science Nexus would be super cool, but it's not like... I mean, we're already generating 6k of everything, and like that's 6k and change. The game is crediting us with 20k, so the rounding error is worth 2,000, a third of the research in any given category. I'm pretty sure we've already got our strategic coordination center. Mega Art, again, wonderful. I'm a huge Nicolas Cage fan, but it's not like I need the extra Unity or the amenities for that reason, for that matter. The additional envoys of Interstellar Assembly Site might be kind of cool. So in this situation here, you know, the ability to, you know, keep a... Well, yeah, actually, if I'm going to be trying to take over my... If I'm going to be trying to take over the Federation from within, having those extra envoys to be able to boost up the cohesion, that would actually be a pretty forward-thinking play. The question is, relative to the other things that I can do, you know, what else? So, you know, Mega Shipyard is a great example here. A massive shipyard dedicated entirely to shipbuilding. The Mega Shipyard has 20 production berths to build or upgrade ships. Pretty big deal. Habitat. I feel like that's actually kind of a... It's a smaller one. I forgot we didn't go for the ability that would allow me to... I don't believe I can build a Dyson sphere. I think I would need the tradition for that. You know, okay, so I'm going to feel like a little bit of a bozo for doing this, but I think I'm actually going to... This is going to seem so weird, but I'm actually going to build the Interstellar Assembly Site. And the reason for that is the plan at the moment. So right now we've got 9 envoys dedicated towards this this faction. Now, one thing to keep in mind is it would be really good to get to level 5, particularly if there is some kind of a big enemy that's coming after us. But more importantly, here are the laws that we're going to try and enact. Strongest succession, which is going to reduce my cohesion by 1. Status change, succession term. These kind of go together. President decides for war declaration and invite members, and then eventually do that for like kick members, and you know, like basically, I want to centralize control as much as possible. And in this case, pretty much every time I boost one of these, parameters, I'm seeing my I'm seeing the overall cohesion go down, which means that I'm going to be paying in terms of experience. If I can bring envoys in, that will reverse the trend. It'll potentially even boost the rate of experience gain. But it comes with its own cost in the fact that I'm not able to send those envoys off to other things like the Galactic UN or anything like that. So while the super shipyard is super cool, the fact of the matter is that I am crazy over my limits on a lot of these things, and I need to, you know, I really need to get my act together on, you know, on a few of these details. And so my second best position is focus on seizing as much power as I can, and sort of let my strength grow through other means, doing things like turning my you know, my Federation Navy into sort of a private mercenary band and whatnot. There's going to be a whole mess in terms of trying to get all these ships set up in the proper orders. All right, the Akano Citizens Alliance completes the Colossus project. Word has reached us that the Akano Citizen Alliance has developed specifications for a Colossus-type hull configuration, a weapon platform potentially capable of complete planetary destruction. Alarming. But they are an ally, so... An ally I might kick out of the Federation, but... All right. So again, right now we're just sitting and waiting for these wars to finish out. This one's a bit annoying because it's very clear that they're not going to be able to achieve their war goals. This is actually not the war that I want to finish. This is the war I want to finish because these guys at some point were willing to be vassalized by me. But right now I'm just sitting and waiting. And of course I'm sitting and waiting because I'm not actually able to offer subsidiary status until we're at peace. So here's an interesting question. What are my shipyards up to? So you know what? It looks like we might be done. So all my shipyards are quiet right now, which makes me think I've actually made the largest number of fleets with a Titan possible. Is that true? Better still, let's actually... Yeah, you know what? That's too much trouble. Okay. I can make this a lot easier on myself. So I need 3 cruisers, if I'm not mistaken. You know what? The sail is the 10th. Okay. I say this every time. I'm just going to write this out. Because we also haven't had any kind of an upgrade in terms of fleet size for a while. So, 1 Titan. 12 battleship. 11 cruiser. 20 destroyer, and it should be 34 corvette if I'm, yeah. So at this point, let's just cannibalize what we can. So the core is short. Looks like they've got 11 battleships, so they need one battleship and I think it's 3 cruisers. Yeah, battleship and 3 cruisers, so... battleship, 3 cruisers. Now the reason I feel okay doing that to the ocean is that the ocean doesn't currently have a Titan. So right now they're going to be a feeder for everything else. And actually with that in mind, the first pelagic excursion, I'm not 100% sure what I need them for, but we'll combine them with the ocean. Okay, river's in a similar situation. In fact, it looks like most of the... Okay, so the shore's got its Titan. The shore, the sail, and the anchor. Okay. So, anchor's good to go. Okay, so the... Looks like the anchor might be the... Okay, anchor's good. Can actually just mouse over like this. So yeah, I guess it's just the shore that's short. Okay, so we'll give them 3 destroyers. Oh, sorry, 3 battleships. Wait, that's not right. Okay. It's 12 battleships, 11 cruisers, so they need 6 cruisers, and that's it. I think we can work with that. The second pelagic excursion into the shore, and they should be ready to go. Against my better judgment, I'm actually going to try these upgrades here. I want to see what happens. It could be a disaster. And then I think the other thing I'm going to do with these ones, I probably won't do this on pause, but I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to split the fleet up. So anything with 230 and a Titan is going to be out of this collection. For the rest of them, what I'm going to do... Alright, you can upgrade. For the rest of these guys, I'm actually going to try and combine them so that it's like one of them is like, you know, you need battleships. The next one is like, you need cruisers. The next one's you need destroyers. Like, try and compartmentalize the reconstruction as much as possible. So the ocean needs battleships. So in this case, we'll cannibalize it for cruisers. So they've got 2 cruisers. Looks like the river needs them, so...
Construction completed.
Of course, it's given me other construction to worry about, so... There may not be as... Okay, these are all fine. Energy credits, another 5% for the jobs, which is good. I mean, really, we're trying to outpace the rate at which we're building new ships. Minor improvements to transmission efficiency adds up to sizable reduction in overall energy loss. At this point, let's say we will boost our energy weapon damage. Alright, now there's one problem with the way that I set this up, which is every time I do this sort of mouse over. Okay, so the Dark Abyss is just waiting on a Titan. I'm gonna move them over there. So River still needs 2 more cruisers. So yeah, similarly, the river, we're just really waiting on a Titan for it. So of course the good news is that I can take a look at all of these other ships that I've built, and I can say it's like, okay, well, you know, if we're just waiting on, you know, Titans, which we are right here, you know, we can close the distance needed for these guys to, you know, to get where they need to go pretty quickly. So let's just see if there's any other ones that we've got. So yeah, these guys are short on... So actually this is a harder one, right? Because cruisers and destroyers are not things that I have in the immediate area. So this guy definitely needs battleships. In fact, exactly the number of battleships that we have given them. So that's good. Yeah, this is a little more complicated, actually. So when I take a look at the stream and the... oh, well, there's a small efficiency that I can do here. I can take out the 9 destroyers and put them into the stream, so... But the challenge, of course, is that I need to... the challenge is that I need to somehow... so I just got to make sure I got these numbers right. I'm somehow going to need to find the extra cruisers, which we have apparently not sent. And that's probably an oversight on my part. So yeah, we are short cruisers. So let's just maybe take a look at what we're looking at. So the ocean is... The ocean's short. Sail's good. Vega is not good, but we'll get that sorted. River's waiting on a Titan. This is a mess. I think I'm going to have to redo my patrols. Stream is also in a little bit of a mess. Shore's good. Dark Abyss is waiting on a Titan. The Tidal is ready to rock. And apparently I don't have a commander for it, which is silly. The Anchor is ready to go. Crest of Waves is the supplemental fleet. The Jetty is ready to rock, but for some reason does not have a commander. I'm also going to need to count the number of these. And the Coast is my... The Coast is my second set of replacements. In fact, there may be too many battleships inside of it, but let's figure that out on another occasion. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so, and how many commanders do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 9. So I'm trying to find the one that's missing the commander. All right. Things are looking up on that front too. Now, when it comes time to put the herd on the Cooperative of Menjusana, we are going to have one inopportune period where we're not actually able to push quite as hard. I suppose the one thing I can do is put myself... Well, yeah, actually, no, that's fine. We're just going to load up here. Yeah, so even then, we have one fleet that's able to reach in. So the next big challenge, of course, is dealing with piracy. So 126 is our worst. That can't be right. So it says current piracy is... Oh, no, that actually makes sense. But even then, it's saying like current piracy is much higher than what its max can be. That doesn't actually make any sense. So when I take a look at my corvettes, what does it tell me your ability to deal with piracy is? Do I even remember where I can read that? Oh, here we go. Piracy suppression total 180. So you'd kind of think that it could handle that. There's actually a side of me that wants to say, you know, never mind the patrols. Why don't we just get a big stack of these guys, like sitting on all of the nodes? That is, of course, dumb, and I'm not going to do that. But I am, however, going to... I think I'm going to double up all of the double up all of the corvettes, and then I might add another group for sort of this northern area up here. So the Mirror Dimension Djomar Limited reports that their economy is in decline due to a series of defeats at the appendages of the Warp Beasts. Hopefully they will recover.
Construction completed.
Okay, so let's say the Reef. I am very nervous about using the Fleet Manager here, but that can't be right. So it says they have no, that doesn't make sense. And this is why I don't use this. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do instead. So we're going to build 12 more. Yeah, 12 more to bring those 8 to 18. And then another 18. So that's actually going to be 30 corvettes that I produce. I might as well just do this all on Mavel. And then, what is it? 1836, 72. Yeah. I think I might have gotten that off. I might be a little bit off on that number, but we'll find out. I want 72 corvettes in that in the end. I don't think that's going to be enough to throw us into tragedy as far as the naval cap is concerned. Also, I should probably seriously be considering my next set of
research concluded
of corporate offices. More aggressive information campaigns improve the populace's receptiveness to edicts. Let's say...
Ship upgrades
Army health.
applied.
Okay, hopefully the jetty is not worse than it was before. 179k versus the yeah. What are you looking at? Yeah, so it looks like as a whole, these upgrades, at least on paper, make it more lethal. It's also going to be really nice to finally see some fully upgraded fleets. Okay, let's actually go for a little bit of survivability here. So, just to give you an idea about how ridiculous I could get, you know what, I think we're just going to cancel. I think I'm just going to cancel my sales because it looks like we're going to be getting to a point where we're hitting some pretty heavy deficits. So to give you an idea about how absurd I could get with my defensive platforms, it's not just this is maybe one thing that isn't always, it's not always the first thing that you notice, let's say. You can build your defensive platforms on your station, it's true. But it's also worth remembering, even if this isn't upgraded, you can actually build defensive platforms on each of your individual star systems. So the thing is that you can create more choke points. So like, what is the very natural thing you want to do? Well, you find a system like Bayou and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to upgrade the station because, you know, I want the military support. Obviously, you know, 594 is not that strong of a defensive structure, and being able to augment it with some, you know, some guns in the modules, or being able to reduce the enemy's shields. Obviously, that would be useless in Bayou because it's already a nebula. But you get what I'm saying, right? You're able to build these improvements on your stations. But the thing is, if you're pressed, like I've had a lot of situations where my my production is not where it needs to be, or my caps are not where they need to be. It is entirely possible, if I felt particularly threatened, that I could actually go to one of these outposts and build a whole bunch of defensive platforms. And if I'm like completely out of my mind and I don't have any idea, what I'm going to spend all of my money on,
completed.
Why not just buy a whole bunch of, why not buy a whole bunch of fancy new toys? Like get some new. This is a little odd, but I am going to hit the upgrade button in the hopes that this puts an end to the matter. Just try and find the spots where I think the enemy are going to be showing up and defending it. Now, again, in very practical terms, there's almost no situation I can really think of where I would say, you know what I think is a really good idea? This naked station, I'm just going to put a whole bunch of defensive structures there. Chances are, if I think it's worth investing the resources into building defensive platforms, I'm going to think it's worth augmenting with the modules that come from more substantial stations. But that is a choice. That is not a necessity. The agreement we signed giving you access to our databanks has run its course. Would you like to extend it for another 10 standard years, or do your researchers no longer require the information we have to offer? Well, for 5 months worth of income, slightly more than 5 months worth of income, we can get a 10% bonus on our absolutely terrifying amounts of research. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good deal. Let's see where the Raxar is. So I'm a little worried that the Raxar might kind of boost itself to a point where they eclipse me in time for 2500. We do, it's still 3/4 of a century to go before the matter is settled. So I want to be mindful. So let's keep building mercenary liaison offices before I branch out into other things. Oh boy, okay, Prophet's Retreat, we've got lots of things we can do, and I've been ignoring them. So there's an upgrade I'm happy with. So yeah, I mean, I suppose the question is, what do I want to do with a Gaia world? I think I want to turn it into a whole bunch of refineries. Should probably build the stock exchange right away, because I know I'm going to have a whole bunch of commercial zones. Oh, can't, because I don't have a planetary capital. I have no idea what I'm short on, but I'm pretty sure volatile moats will become very important soon. So, also spiral hewn. Okay, max mining districts +4, max agriculture districts +4. Okay, so we're fine. I think that gives me a start. More importantly, that's going to allow me to, with the commercial zones, that's going to allow me to start bringing some bodies in. All right, speaking of bodies, okay, I've got more alloys than I know what to do with. Normally this would mean special projects. Oh yes, I completely forgot, Mastery of Nature as well. Now, if memory serves, I can only do one megastructure at a time. Let's just verify that. This apparently was incorrect. So with that in mind, I think I'm actually going to put my mega shipyard right here. Now this is a little bit of a danger because of course it's not defended. But I still think it's worth it. For the simple also, I should consider maybe a gateway at some point, but the gateway might come back to bite me depending on where I put it. So I'm going to hold off on that for now. The sentry array would be really good too. Well, you know what? Okay, so if I can actually build more than one, let's say we do... so mega shipyard here. This is just because it's nice and central, so all of the different branches can sort of be taken you know, taken care of in this spot. Might even consider building a gateway on that one, so then we can just, you know, fly out wherever we want. And actually, I think now, if it's really true that we can build this many megastructures at once, it seems to me the obvious choice is to build another construction ship. Obviously, after all the Corvettes. All right. So again, I've got a whole bunch of surplus work that I should be focusing on. So this is kind of unofficially become a bureaucratic center, and I'm actually okay with that. So we'll get you your administrative offices. We'll get you your upgrade right away. Let's get you working on chemical plants. Let's also get you working on chemical plants. Yeah, because you're already going to get your extra 5. And yeah, chemical plants for everyone to start off with. Ugelstach. Okay, this is fine. Ruler unemployment is exactly where I want this to be, and we're actually on a surplus on housing. Although that surplus is not going to let... Yeah, okay, this is the thing that sucks. So I need to find a way of generating the smallest number of jobs for what I've got on this world now. I've got... Yeah, we already have too little. Okay, well that's fine. We will build a new habitation district and chemical plants for everyone. Yeah, we'll start with that. Mining state. Oh god, yeah, we got more than we really know what to do with here. So let's upgrade you. Let's maybe not quite so ready for that. So of course, appalling unemployment across the worlds here, but I can live with that. I have an easy out. So there's 2 jobs that are going to become available at the current population. I think in anticipation, let's just get the commercial zone out of the way. Ublion has got housing problems, but it also has unemployment problems. So I feel like I keep bouncing back and forth on this particular planet. And you know what? I probably, like an idiot, stopped building... administrative parks. Managers are... Well, you know what? So what does this get me? Trade value and society research. Well, I mean, it would be nice to keep the society research, but at this point, we get more jobs out of turning this into an administrative office. Kedar Secundus, I think it's pretty clear at this point that this is dedicated to Forge, and it's actually possible I might scrap the generator districts and pave this world over to turn it into an ecumenopolis. Okay, so, you know, crippling unemployment, but we can work with that. Because we also have a whole bunch of worlds with free jobs now. So... this is going to be sort of the first run at this. I have a feeling that some of these open positions are lies. So I'm pretty sure I just put people on Meneth. It's already begun. All right. Oh, nope, that's legit. Okay. But we do have a huge housing issue. I probably should have seen this coming. There really isn't a good way around this either. I'm actually going to have to replace this. which means unemployment. That's a pity. Okay, well, Meneth is gonna... I'll let them take care of themselves when the time comes. I doubt that Bleg one, but again, I'll work with what I've got. So 6 more jobs. Five, 4, 3. Two, 1, 0, 2. Again, my suspicion is not all of these are actually going to be proper jobs, but anything I can do to try and bring about a little bit of balance. All right, this is encouraging. 7, 6, 5. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm sure if I had taken off the gas on the robot construction, I wouldn't be spending so much time on this, but at this point, some of this is just arbitrary. Sky Temple's a trap, actually. It says it's got 3 jobs, but those are jobs that nobody can actually use. Okay, so let's see. Esclion. Does it tell me what kind of jobs you want? No, it doesn't really. Although, to be fair, this is not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Except for the fact that I've got a secret... I've got kind of a secret... like a secret population bomb waiting on Sky Temple because of that, that open job. But I think I can work with that. Okay, so unfortunately I'm going to have to kill another farm. But that's life. Cator Secundus, so what's the story with you? Okay, so it's Alloy Foundries. We know that we want to get the workers off-world in this case. Although, I am noticing that... Oh, no, I know, yeah, so that is completely understandable why there's so much extra housing. In fact, let's start using that up right now. So we've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 8... Oh, wow. So I'm actually short on housing on this world, it turns out, but that's fine. We'll be able to make that work. Okay, Ublian makes me sad, but that's life. Probably shouldn't have put down a commerce megaplex. I should have actually kept on my administrative focus. So Cator Secundus, yeah, I actually need to get these guys off world. So let's So that's dealt with. These guys will be taken care of. Eublion's been taken care of. Join them. So what's the story here? You're getting chemical plants and commercial zones, so you will be fine, although you are short on city districts. So again, I have to pull back on my farming, which I'm not comfortable with because this is kind of it, and I don't have a whole lot of farmland that I can kind of conjure out of thin air. But that's life, I guess. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm gonna have to do it, but so that's one job accounted for. But yeah, the rest of you guys have got to go off-world. In fact, I'm just going to send all 3 off-world. Oh, Sky Temple, that's the trap again. Okay, join them we were fine with. Gaigush. This whole planet makes me sad. But I'll live with it. I hope that was right. Okay, so again, against my better judgment, we need to turn. Oh, you know what? This is going to wind up being turned into an ecumenopolis, almost certainly. And the big problem I'm having is that I've got all of these unskilled workers. Now, here's an interesting question. I wonder if they can train up. Looks like they can't, but I am a little curious what happens, so I'm going to run an experiment on this world. Okay, this is easy. We just upgrade these mega forges. Although, again, housing is the big problem here. I'm going to ignore this, ignore that. Okay, this is a little harder to ignore. I can afford... So that's 3 new jobs. I can technically afford 2 more. No, I can afford more than that. So this is... Yeah, that's fine. So that earns me another 8. Let's just let her rip. Oh, crap. Yes. Yes. Oh, this is a nightmare. Okay, you're doing mineral purification, so it makes me sad, but I need to get rid of the generators in that case. And this is a no-brainer. This is basically going to be where all of my workers wind up. Okay, we're back to where we were with these worlds. And it actually feels like these are somewhat legitimate. So, before I go any further, I'm going to take I'm actually going to migrate the unemployment out of Sky Temple. Oh, that's right. I can't. I actually need to build into it. All right, it's not ideal, but I will. It's enough to keep me reasonably happy. I'm just going to finish a little bit of my coffee while this runs. So, my influence is not as high as I would like it to be because of all of those structures that I built. My inclination would have been to start putting down some more branch offices in the Econo Citizen Alliance, given that the cost is going to be quite high in terms of influence. So what passed? The Charter of Workers' Rights. I'm assuming that was good for me. Repeal... Nope. Sanctions make me stronger as a member of the council. In fact, if anything, I would like to propose a reduction and the council denouncement. Did I start that one? I guess I did. Oh crap, what am I going to do with my alloys? Like, it seems like such a waste to... Oh, I know what I'm doing with my alloys. Oh, this is going to be tedious. It'll be worth it, though. Okay. So, let's start with the upgrades. I can't remember if these things... You know, even if these things cost energy. Do I actually have these many? Oh yeah, I've got quite a bit. I'm sure I'm gonna I have to run out of resources doing this. It's silly if I can get away with this. What I should do, actually, before I go any further, let's make sure the ones that I actually need properly defended are...
Ship upgrades applied.
So this is the problem with this, is that we are now going to be hearing that ship upgrades applied message for a very long time. So yeah, before I go too crazy on the stuff that I build, let's make sure that my some of my key defensive points have the support that they need. And given that we're now at 22 out of 71,000, I think we're good for a little bit. Oh, we're
Ship upgrades applied.
Yeah, so we only need to hear that 6 more times. And then however many we'll hear this on Mavel.
Concluded.
Perfecting the firing cadence of laser weaponry is a task that could keep the engineering elite of any given planet busy for centuries. Let's say attack speed for you. At this point, I've kind of abandoned my my empire in terms of its
ship upgrades,
its
applied.
Productions. But frankly, I don't really want to think about it all that much. I'm just waiting for the wars to end, and at this point, it looks like it's just going to be a pure matter of attrition, which makes me feel pretty annoyed with my allies, to be frank. But the wars can't go on forever. And my enemies are not going to get any stronger.
Ship upgrades applied.
Oh, here's an interesting question. Do I have my 72 Corvettes yet? I've got 92 Corvettes, so I overestimated. Alright, so let's... I'm going to do this in an inefficient way, but it's going to be a way that keeps me sane. Okay, so the breeze... I'm actually really happy that... So I'm going to see the cost of all of those defensive stations in a couple of turns, and I'm probably going to regret it. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by combining these fleets. This is why I'm doing it like 6 at a time. Just so I can keep it straight in my head. Okay, so these were taken care of, and then I said I was adding a 4th group. So these guys were going to be somewhere kind of in the frontier area. I'll just kind of kick them around in that spot. So, with that in mind, actually that may not have been as crazy as I thought it was. It could be that I'm 10 off. So I'm actually going to, yeah, in my highly scientific way. Oh yeah, 1, 2. I was just being impatient. Hello, the Eyes of Sin. It's very good to see you. How are you doing tonight? For those of you who do not know... Oh, sorry. On a Conquered Citadel from Fallen Empire, there is Titan Construction Yard, but because you don't have the DLC, you can't build any. Sorry, Miles. You wrote that before, and I didn't even notice that before. That's so funny. Again, I'm totally not familiar with that at all. For those of you who don't know the Eyes of Sin, she is the one responsible for the lovely emotes here. I did a bad job and didn't crop the most recent batch, but that is the only real improvement I ever had to say about the new ones. I decided to try and put some of the ones that I liked the most on the cheaper tiers, the $5 tier or Prime tier, if you use Prime for that. But one of the things that I like the most is that the Eyes of Sin has she's really kind of done that work on her own. She really did not need any specific prompting to do that good work, and I am incredibly impressed by her ability to so continuously produce this level of quality, and usually without a whole lot of direction. I know that's actually probably the biggest area of improvement that I have for myself in terms of trying to try and be a little bit better in terms of collaborating with artists, is to be a little bit more clear in terms of what my wishes are. But she's done wonderful things with a decided lack of direction on my part. She is available for commissions if you go twitter.com/Eyes of Sin, or if you just check out her coffee page, that's also accessible through her Twitter. She's someone who I think is very much worth supporting, and someone who, I've done my best to try and support where I can financially. But in addition, if you don't see her around that much, that's usually because she is busy modding for many more famous and popular people than me. And she definitely, it's very easy to see why she is in demand. She is an incredibly nice and very, just interesting and overall very good person to kick around. And I think one of the biggest challenges with someone like Sin is that she is very accommodating. She's very nice, very kind. She wants people to be happy. And I think it's sometimes very easy to take advantage of people like that. And so I never want to take her presence for granted. But on the other hand, whenever she stops by, it is my opportunity to talk about what I like about her art, what I like about her as a person, and to be able to share with you someone who I think has made my broadcast better. Compressing suitable materials into ultra-dense forms is a cheap and efficient way to improve their ability to absorb weapons-grade impacts. Plus, I'm convinced if I say enough nice things about her, one day I'll sweep her off her feet with just the right selection of words. Because if you've ever seen her stream, you actually know she's also quite cute. Of course, me saying that also means that she will probably not stream for another year now that now that the secret's out. Miniaturized pre-igniters 7, explosives weapons attack speed plus 5%. Again, we're going for the cheap tech where I can. Get as many little small improvements out as quickly as we can. And yeah, we've got just a huge unemployment problem in the Empire now. I'm going to do my best to ship it off where I can while time passes.
Ship upgrades applied.
I also think I'm going to do it on some of these newer planets. So, 5 new jobs, for instance. Those ship upgrades applied messages are the defensive platforms again. The energy cost is not as high as I thought it was going to be. It's not great, but it's manageable.
Ship upgrades applied.
You know, I should probably just come clean on, now that I think about it, with Sky Temple. So I've got kind of structural unemployment here. So what's this Paradise Dome going to get me? Nothing. I should be turning this into a mall. At least then I'll have some employment to show for it. And given the fact that we've got 127 house, well, okay, it's Sky Dome, so it's something that the precursors made. But yeah, no, commercial zone makes sense here, not a Paradise Dome. That was stupid for me to build. This is all the AI building this. So, although we have way too much housing, so. I would have built more farms if I could, but I can't, so. I think we're in a similar boat here. Well, no, this is actually one that might run into some problems.
Ship upgrades applied.
I'm going to take a different approach to unemployment here, and I'm going to take planets I know that there are jobs on.
Ship upgrades applied.
And then I'm going to bring over whatever workers I can. So perfect example here. I've got 3. Oh man. Yeah, I need more. That's a shame. Like every new city district I build is a generator district I don't get to build. Oh, but this is an easy one. It's a Gaia world, so I'll embiggen it. Or just pave it over. I would never forgive myself if I did. Although the idea of paving over a holy world is just a very nice little to put all the adix on it and then make them be the ones to turn their holy world into a parking lot. Again, not exactly a xenophilic thing to do. But yeah, like I said, so one of the things I'm going to do to try. Oh crap! I think I was doing this in the reverse order. So in these cases of unemployment, I'll take worlds where I know there's jobs, and then from that, essentially, I'll work backwards.
Ship upgrades applied. Knowledge is the key to the universe.
So good example here, right? I've got 4 clerk jobs available on Rosique. So we've got, okay, Celestial Throne. What's the problem here? Well, Celestial Throne, okay. Turns out it's a ruler. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. Gluckdor, on the other hand. Okay, nope, another similar case. Actually, unemployment may not be as big of a problem as I thought it was. Okay, 2 jobs. But in this case here, I'm no longer falling onto those trap worlds. These are ones where I can actually see, okay, 5 positions available, and they are clerks and technicians, which means, like, these are things that actually need to be filled. Although it is a little bit weird moving right to left.
Construction completed.
Nerve dampeners 10. Careful tuning of pain receptors allows soldiers to fight through what would previously have been debilitating injuries. And again, we're going to pick...
Ship upgrades
I'm actually going to do the food upgrade. I do kind of want the I do want the improvements to my... there's a bunch of improvements that I want on there, including administrative cap,
applied.
but given the fact that we're kind of skirting the edge of our food and consumer goods, and I suspect that that's only going to be... that problem is only going to be more acute over time, I think it's kind of better that I deal with it in the moment. Okay, let's try and get the Meneth unemployment under control. So that's 3 taken care of.
Ship upgrades
8 jobs. And they're all clerks, great. So unfortunately, in the case of Meneth, as the population shrinks, we wind up in this weird spot where there's not enough. Like, so basically, as the planet grows, more jobs become available. And so it's really hard to get kind of an equilibrium here. So in this case, I know this is gonna work. With the exception of the fact that there's like ruler and worker unemployment, but I'll deal with that in just a minute. Or I'll try to, at least. And I think at this point I'm just gonna properly stop and count the... Oh crap. Resort worlds are kind of a pain. Alright, Meneth is now properly dealt with. Let's see what's going on with the rest of these worlds. Okay, Prophet's Retreat is still building itself up. That's fine. Tech World, okay, Specialist Unemployment, that should never happen. Although I am unfortunately going to have to pull back on my precious resources. Let's do 2 city districts for now, because I think I'm going to run into food problems very quickly. Commercial zones are where they need to be for Sky Temple, so I'm happy with that. Celestial Throne, that's going to take care of itself, although we do have space for 2 new jobs, so let's deal with that now. Vanico 1. Holy crap, I might have dealt with my unemployment problems. Because it looks like all of these are sort of specialists. Oh, then there's Ydra. So I really did want to be unpaused while I was doing this, but it turns out this is a little sensitive, so I'm gonna get kind of this big stroke done. Why is Myram... It feels like Myram's got sort of this insatiable appetite for workers. I don't know why I was putting people on there. Okay, these are... Yep, these are worker jobs, so I can fix my mistake. And then what was the other world? Was there another world? All right, I am cautiously optimistic on the state. Oh, no. No, I think I said I want... Okay, so let's see what happens to my unemployment when I build alloy mega forges. Do these guys scale up, or do they stay as basic workers? I also feel like I should be replacing the Hall of Judgment here. Interesting. Okay, so they stay as regular workers. Cador Secundus. What kind of jobs are you looking for? Real jobs, cool. And there's 6 of them, so 1, 2, okay, unbelievably, we actually pulled this off. So, now we're going to take a look at what we can do with the available space. So, it looks like we've got, let's say, 3, 6, 9, 12. That's right. I think I said that this is actually shaping up to be exactly what I wanted it to be. We do have an employment problem, though. And you know what? I'm going to make this a civilian industry. No, that... Well, okay, I actually don't need more alloys right now. So yeah, I will make that a civilian industry because we're going to get short in a little bit. I should also consider some of the Ecumenopolises. Maybe get them to focus on... Okay, so we've got space for 15 right now. I might be able to give up some of the mining districts, maybe not the generator districts. So let's at least build up to the capacity that we have. So we get 3, so 2, 3, 4, 5. I know I'm going to have to change this around later, but I'll work with what I've got. This is becoming a city district, so I'm happy with where that's heading now. It currently has 5 jobs available, so that's fine. That means I can get them to build another set of chemical plants. Okay, this is fine because it's ruler unemployment. It's, again, ruler unemployment on a factory world. Although at some point I do need to decide what I'm going to do. Yeah, we have space for these people, so I have room for 8 more people. So if I do this, this would be 2 metallurgist jobs. And when I get to 45... Right, I need to remember that when I get to 45. Okay, so we're at 42 right now. So that would give me 44, 45, 46. And we sort of hit a bit of an equilibrium here. I mean, technically with the alloy foundry, I can boost up the number of workers. I'm not actually going to do that on that planet, though. Okay, we know that these will be, we know that these guys will stay regular workers, so let's get you onto, Joinham, I think, was the one that had the cool jobs available. I hope it was. Yes, it was. Although it looks like it's getting a bit crowded. Right, we still need to figure out what we're doing with this world. This is fine. So the ones that are open... Aha! Okay, Celestial Throne. So we have room still. Against my better judgment, I'm going to put down a commercial zone. God, am I really doing this? Before I do civilian industries, because I have other ways of getting civilian industries, let's put down food processing facilities so I can get a little more mileage out of my existing farms. That's going to become quite precious. And I still think I'm going to need more moats, although I have a feeling that exotic gas is going to become necessary before too long as well. We currently have no jobs on this world, so new commercial zones, that's 5, potentially 10 jobs accounted for. We're already improving our generators. Here I'm willing to do civilian industries. Okay, this tech world. Let's start by upgrading the building. Clearly I need more living space. So in this case I'm just going to say it's a shame, but goodbye city, goodbye generator districts, hello city districts. and we'll figure out where we are as far as research is concerned. Ideally, I'd like as much research as possible, but let's not lose our heads. Okay, here. This is actually a tough call because I don't have an unlimited amount of I don't have an unlimited amount of minerals. In this case, I think I'm gonna undo my my generators. Again, ruler unemployment isn't a big deal. They'll fall down to whatever level they need to get to. I don't think I'll upgrade the commercial zones here, but it does look like I have 2 more jobs available. Oh, this is so tough. So if I upgrade this, it's going to take me up to 3. Well, there's an easy answer for that. A couple of chemical plants, and we don't need to worry about this planet growing in it. You know what? Why do that when I can build a farm? Let me just think about that. So we've got room for 2. Ah, damn it! The numbers don't work. I'm gonna have to think a bit about what the last step on here is. Blake's already getting its city district. That's fine. The ruler's not actually gonna have a job to. Oh yes, they are. That or somebody's gonna grow into it. Either way, it sort of sucks, but that's something for me to think later. And unbelievably, I've actually kind of got a handle on my employment situation until the next time everything gets thrown out into chaos. Now, let's deal with the fact that things are kind of grim as far as consumer goods are concerned. So I'm going to take my... Uh-oh! This might be... So the thing to remember is I've usually won before the big events happen. I'm not actually sure how panicked I should be. So I'm just going to take a quick minute here. We've got more than enough housing, so I'm going to build some industrial ecology. So, massive subspace disturbances have erupted in systems across the galaxy. Early reports indicate that nearly 50% of the systems in the galaxy have been affected by this unprecedented phenomenon, which appears to be a byproduct of thousands of years of heavy hyperspace travel by civilizations both past and present. Scientists are confident that this galactic space storm will dissipate by itself within a period of 5 to 10 years. Until that happens, the storm will play havoc with sublight engines, shield generators, and sensor systems in those star systems affected by it. The galactic community has officially named this storm Schlugger and has issued a general travel advisory. This too shall pass. And the music's getting exciting. Actually, I guess you guys probably can't hear it. Let's see if we can boost that up a little bit. Let me know if it gets too loud, but... Cador still has unemployment problems, so let's do an anti-crime campaign. Again, I want to try and think about my influence if I can. Oh, we've knocked over the edge into negative food. And you know what the really scary thing about this is that I've actually... I've tapped out all of my space stations in terms of their ability to generate food through hydroponics. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an audit of my star bases. Anything with a deep space black site but no hydroponic station is going to get... it's going to get a replacement. This is why we need. That's why we need everybody to become robots, so we don't have these starvation problems. That's shameful that this wasn't already a hydroponic station. Okay, so I'm gonna be in a slightly better spot than I thought I would be. Looks like there were some gaps. But again, the population number is only going to grow, and I have a lot of worlds, so...
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
These ones kind of make sense for... Or, you know what? I don't need a list... Well... Where are you? Yeah, your listening post's actually kind of helpful. But this citadel, as silly as it seems, because like maybe I'd want like a Titan assembly yard or something like that. Holy crap, do I really have 13 Titans? I don't know where they came from, but I'm happy I have them. Yeah, I'll put a hydroponics bay there. Advances in the miniaturization allow for rapid loading and discharging of rocket-propelled payloads. And actually, I'm going to try and do something a little... It's not silly, but I'm going to try and do something a little underhanded in terms of how much it costs me relative to what I'm getting. So let's talk to my old friend, the Raxar entity. Let's offer a trade deal. I would like food. Ideally monthly food. Okay. And while we're at it, let's talk about some consumer goods. Oh, well, they're short on consumer goods, so maybe not on that. Let's make this 30 years. Now, what are they going to want in terms of alloys? Nope. $73 for alloys? I think that's manageable. Is there a way that I can... No. So 100 spare food for 73 alloy. I mean, that's not a great trade by any stretch of the imagination. I'm pretty sure if I were to try and add... Oh. 1 energy credit just to... Yeah, you know what? I'll live with that. 30 years of food security, I think that is quite acceptable. Okay, now as far as the Econo are the least likely for me to get into some kind of a war with. So, wow, okay, so they really value their consumer goods. Never mind. Alright. Against my better judgment, the Great Estwani Polity. Let's see what we can get away with. This is definitely going to cost me a pretty penny. For 50, I think I can manage it. Let's take it up to 30 years. And again, let's see what this is going to cost me for alloys. Okay, you're not getting 100. Actually, it's about the same as what the... It's about the same as what I'm paying for the food. So again, this is not my favorite option because this is just sort of wallpapering over my my structural problems. But getting 3 decades worth of this kind of security when hopefully I'm going to be subjugating some worlds.
Research concluded.
I think that's manageable. Okay, new developments in tech cooling regularly surface, improving the stability and efficiency of our weapon systems, keeping them from blowing up the ships on which they are mounted. And we still have 2k a month. I'm happy about that. Shield hit points. And again, because we're generating so much at any given time, if I ever see a 230 stack, that's not... Oh, actually, speaking of... Okay, so... Split you in half, split you in half, split you in half. So the breach in the lake. You get combined. The reef and the breeze. You get combined. I don't like where this is heading with the breach, but that's fine. I'm going to stick with the plan. I'm slightly nervous about how this is going to all turn out, but... Okay. So let's get the... I already screwed it up. Drat. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do instead. So where's piracy a problem? Basically, I'm just trying to build these new fleets for... I'm trying to build these new fleets so that we can properly enforce trade, because I have a feeling that my consumer goods and energy problems are going to be solved quite a bit more quickly if I just have an effective patrol system. Okay, so the deep sea. Deep sea is my first one that I can work with. So let's get them... Okay, so if we start them here, it's not going to be perfect.
Knowledge is the key to the universe. Construction completed.
Okay, so we'll start them at Kosk.
Construction completed.
And then I can get them up to Ibloranda, and then there's really only one node in the trade route that,
Construction
that
completed.
gets affected. Transgenic crops offer the nutritional elements of several standard food crops in one convenient package. Let's go for an administrative capacity, because that's going to help me out in terms of energy costs. I'm somewhat hoping that the rest of these fleets figure out what's going on. Looks like these two are going to be combined without too much of a problem. Whether or not they're actually doing the right thing is another question. But I'll save that for later consideration. I probably overdid it as far as the food and consumer goods security. But I mean, again, my alloys aren't exactly hurting here.
Construction completed.
If anything, I'm going to need to sell them off. Not that that's a bad thing. As much as I would love to... nope, we're at that time already. Ooh, wow. Maybe I'll just do a straight-up trade for energy credits next time. Especially if they're alloy... alloy is for allies.
Ship upgrades.
Obviously,
applied.
I would prefer to dump these alloys into... either into weapons of war, or I'd prefer them to... or I would prefer to put them into... mega structures. But... Oh, speaking of... I can. Right, we've got the Interstellar Assembly Site, we've got the... the shipyard, so I think I was looking for the sensor array. And again, I'm going to put this in kind of my little secret areas, so... Oh! I'm only allowed to build 2 at a time. Alright, well, that's fair. So with that in mind, let's make good on that threat to build a gateway. Do I want to build a gateway there? Okay, now I need to think a little bit about where... You know what? I don't need to be paused for this. Where are the gateways? do they get me somewhere I want to be? Like, the L-gate system is definitely helpful. The gateway system, it's actually not so clear-cut to me. Because the last thing I want to do with a gateway is, like, build something that winds up becoming a liability. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward. Yes, yes. And I think the rest I leave. By the way, look at those votes, 197. I don't think so. Definitely within my federation, I have enough pull to sort of do whatever I want. But let's activate the Surveyor. We have Scepter Space using a strong scanning beam for the Surveyor relic. And a previously unknown resource deposit has been identified on Kosk. So Kosk isn't too exciting here, just because I haven't really developed it for reasons that are probably apparent. Like, it doesn't give me a whole lot. So yeah, there's one small problem that I have with this patrol route, which is Gliridum and Goram don't get covered. Unfortunately, there really isn't a good way. Actually, there's a few that don't get caught on that. Given the fact that I can't actually paint patrol routes, I'm willing to accept some, some investment in protection rather than full protection. Okay, so the Deep Sea is now doing its patrol. The Reef, so let me just see what the patrol route for the Reef looks like. Again, we missed 2 here. I think that's gonna I'm gonna have to live with that. Actually, you know what? So what if I said you guys go from here, and then we move you up to Sapat now? Well, at some point I'm going to need to decide where... I've got 4 right now, so... Okay, let's take you up to Sapad. Pelagic Excursion... I have no idea where they're heading. Probably to the lake. Okay. Okay, so the lake doesn't actually have a real answer about where it's going. Where are these guys going? They are also going to the lake. Did I... Nope. You need to join the wind, sir. Although that implies that... Okay, so now I've got 2 sets of ships doing the same patrol route. This is a complete clown show. Alright. So Sapad was the end point of that last one. Let's start with Ryador. So really it's Hazra. Hazra to Sapad is probably the easiest. So it's not a perfect system because obviously I've got redundancies in terms of what the different fleets are up to, but I am curious to see what this does to the overall piracy levels. What I might even do is I might have just the 3 running, and then I use this other stack of 36 ships to sort of just sit in a system. Okay, so we've completed construction of the interstellar assembly site. And yeah, well, don't worry, as soon as you will be ready to do another upgrade right away. Oh, The ship does not even need to be present. Fair enough. Carry on. You may now go into the orbit.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Kinetic weapon attack speed, minor technical advances combined with improved shipboard routines for handling munitions to provide a noticeable boost in the fire rate. Again, we go for cheap tech where I can. I'm going to do minerals over defense platforms because it will drive me insane if I hear that ship upgraded every 2 minutes. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do, given the fact that I sort of messed up my patrol routes, I'm going to take one of those. I'm going to take one of those stacks, and I'm just going to get them to park in each system that has piracy, and just kind of let them get it to 0, and then move on to the next one, and just carry on in that vein. There's actually a pretty big incentive for me right now to figure out how to solve the piracy problem, because I have a feeling it's going to be one of the biggest ways I can get over my deficits. And of course, we're at the point now where there's just so much going on in the game that time is going to be crawling by even if I'm on the fastest speed. So we would have a little more action going right now if my allies didn't very carelessly pull us into a war, which in the end is going to end status quo. I mean, it's clear that there's no possible way that this is going to end the way they want it to. I hope they don't get too many territories. Suppose if I want, I could put a claim on this
Knowledge
system.
is the key to the universe.
Restructuring the managerial web linking core worlds to the capital can help alleviate the administrative stressors and information choke points that frequently arise within a budding empire. So again, cheap where possible. I mean, part of this is really just this guy researching his own immortality. Maybe I should consider doing one-off trades for alloys, because at this point it's getting a little ridiculous at how low of a cost I'm selling alloys for. Surely there are better things I could be doing with that.
Research concluded.
Basic mechanics of ship shields are complex, but they can be adjusted and improved in a multitude of ways. We actually get our choice here, so I'm going to start with energy credits, given the fact that we are in a bit of a free fall as far as our energy needs are concerned. I am going to stay the course here, so one of the ways that I can get over my... So you might say, okay, now is the time for amusement megaplexes because it gets me 10 energy. It's not quite the way I want to be thinking about that problem. The way I want to be thinking about that problem is, why do I have big deficits? I have big deficits because I've got 4 star bases over capacity, and I'm 500 naval capacity over. So I've got a 22% increase to my, to my fleet. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look at what my biggest cost center is. I am spending, 1,000 more on ships than I am on structures. I'm spending over twice as much as I am on star bases. Very clearly, the source of my problems are my fleets. So if I can do something like build a mercenary liaison office, even though it's only 10 points towards my naval capacity, the fact that I am now doing that as a consistent move is something that's going to help me, get my costs under control. That's kind of why I'm focusing the way that I am on that. My God, this employment is a nightmare. I kind of want to just turn this all on auto and say, this is your problem now, computer. Alright, so you've got enough jobs to figure out what you need to do. Should probably reconsider the going crazy on moats strategy I'm employing here. I think there are more interesting things that I can buy at this point. Let's give you a Galactic Stock Exchange and crystals. Oh god. Council election imminent. I think I'm going to try and sell these alloys to to someone. Crystal plant, and let's get him another commerce megaplex. It feels a little silly to do this with a generator world, but it's actually really helpful. And you know what? I'm gonna go all in on the energy. Okay, well, this is the obvious step for the bureaucratic center for sure. Actually, while I'm at it, let's more bureaucracy. That is clearly what I need here. This generator world. Okay, we'll definitely boost the civilian fabricators. Let's get the crystals down because I know that's going to come. Actually, before I do that, let's give you a stock exchange to get your trade up. All right, this forge world is going to make me sad, I think, because I need to find a place to house everyone. I will replace one. So I've got 7 to play with. So I've got 4. Okay, and then I think I need to leave this be for the time being. Alright, this forge world... Yeah, I gotta give them houses. Okay, so that means... Screw it. They'll start with a 3. Ah, yes, this mining station. So you've got 3 jobs. Yeah, I'm doing absolutely nothing. It's a complete trap if I try and produce jobs here. So I won't. Same story. So we're a little more secure on food. I can afford to switch this out. There's really no reason for me to be paused at this point. This is just straight up unemployment that I can't fix. We're not doing great. Yeah, so we're kind of hitting capacity now on a lot of these worlds. I'm going to need to start using Mastery of Nature to make them bigger, or I'm going to need to start finding a lot more places for my people to work. Oh, Jesus, I hate the idea of converting so many of these energy-producing resources into... admin. Pirate sighted. The unprotected trade route that passes through the Yarok system has attracted the attention of a roving band of pirates. These outlaws have gathered a sizable fleet that is intercepting much of the system's trade. I also remember why I was...
Our station is under assault.
Oh wow, that is a strong fleet. These guys would be able to handle it, but I bet they'd lose some ships doing it. But what's the point of having a navy if I'm not going to use it, so... Okay, God, can't these things just, like, move on their own? Province Retreat really have this many? That's such a great thing if they do. Oh yeah, sorry, I keep threatening to do this, but I never actually do it. Okay, so let's talk with my allies. People who are within my Federation. So in this case, I'm just going to go for a lump sum of energy credits. You guys are absolutely ridiculous. Are you telling me you can only put together 180 energy credit? Jesus Christ, why am I even allied with you? Alloyed. This is a terrible return. All right. These guys I might actually be going to war with before too long, so I don't necessarily want to make them all that much stronger, but... Mind you, this may not also be what they're capable of putting together just so much as what they're willing to. You're joking. They really hate me that much? Guess they really don't want alloys. Fair enough. It's interesting that we're the same technological level now. That means I've dropped the ball on technological progress. That's fine as long as they're allies in good standing. Holy crap! Are you serious? Wow. All right. It's a rate of less than 1. All right, well, the market's spoken. Ooh, Jesus. I'm now in deficit territory for both. Oh, wait. That seems a lot scarier than it is. That's just because of the...
We have lost a mining station.
That's just because of the bad guys. The years just fly by, don't they, post-meta Djomar? It has now been 10 years since we arranged our trade deal for rare crystals. Do you wish to extend the deal another decade? You know, the funny thing here is I actually don't need this right now, given that I am producing a surplus of 15. We will pass on your crystals for now. Now, I'm probably going to be coming back to this, but for the time being, these guys, yeah, they'll be able to handle themselves. Okay, so we've got some available jobs. Let's try and help as much
concluded.
As we can. Unbelievable. Okay, so clearly I gotta do something about my alloys. The problem is this is just going to keep the pressure on the market forever. Changes in how mineral deposits are evaluated relative to each other lead to more efficient boring patterns. Let's say we need... Strikecraft seem good. You are definitely due for an upgrade. Alright. So here we wanted... let's knock out a couple more energy
Engaging hostile
generators.
Station.
We had 4 jobs available
Engaging
here,
hostile
so,
forces.
1... 2, 3, 4... The wind has destroyed the pirate station in the Yarok system and recovered the strong room module. Excellent. And to my surprise, we may not lose any ships out of this. Oh, good for you guys. Alright, got our new council. And I keep forgetting about the fact that I need to... Okay, so I've got 6 jobs available here. Clearly we need to get people off of this world. There's not going to be any more... Well, there's a couple more jobs for them at least. Building generator districts, which is nice. I guess that means we're going to have 4 more jobs. Let's go ahead and... I think I'm going to go ahead and build the... Oh no, I'll build the stock market actually. Okay, so...
Research concluded. Ship upgrades applied.
Come on. Oh, it's Meneth. Right. Alright, I'm gonna have to sort that out later. The regimens of periodic cell revitalization treatments keep the leader class spry and active beyond traditionally expected lifespans. So in this case here, we have... I'll go for the edict duration. So you'll notice already we've got... we're back to 1,000, and that's really just a function of... of being able to get the piracy back under control. I'll admit, I'm actually a little surprised at how effective this is already. But I'll not complain, that's for sure. Okay. So I have 3 jobs I can hand out.
Research concluded.
Minor improvements to the transmission efficiency add up to a sizable reduction in overall energy loss, and we've got... let's do energy weapon attack speed. These guys are upgraded, so that's fine. So I've got 5 jobs here. I definitely need to change the numbers around a bit, but let's focus on distributing jobs first. So 1, and then it should be everyone here. 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, so definitely an upgrade here. I think I'm going to go a little heavier on crystals. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm also forgetting the fact that I don't have that monthly cost of... What am I doing? I don't need another Alloy Megaforge right now. I was going to say, I also don't have that cost for the extra... I don't have the cost for the extra...
Knowledge is the key
crystals and
to the
whatnot.
universe.
But that doesn't explain everything, because then my consumer goods wouldn't have gone up. Okay, so I have 8 available here. I'm going to pause this just so 7 so I can keep track. 6, 5... 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Increasing the speed at which fighter pilots can process and act upon enemy positioning data elevates strike craft a few steps up on the food chain. So we've really been neglecting our defense platforms. I suppose at this point I need to put a little more effort in. Okay, tons of jobs available on Prophet's Retreat, so that's 11 new positions we can fill. 10, 9, 8. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. The big dilemma, of course, is going to be what happens when these worlds have stopped growing. Yeah, I haven't figured out what to do. Okay, well, we've got a few things I can do here, so let's just start with a bunch of Okay, so 2 here. Let's do 4. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do 5 crystal refineries. Where are you? Okay. There might be some refining, so to speak, that I need to do, but I'm somewhat satisfied with that for now. This Forge world sucks. I have to build a city district. I might as well upgrade the Oh, right. There's a reason I'm not upgrading that alloy factory. Alright, so Sky Temple. We still have unemployment problems, but we've got a ton of living space, so it seems to me we go for commercial zone. Celestial Throne, what's your story? Okay, so you have a few jobs that need to get taken up. We've got a stock exchange for you, and you need 3 more jobs, so I will put down a commercial zone against my better judgment. This one, we went crazy with the generator districts. You've already got commercial zones coming online, so in this case, we will give them more crystals. So crystals, 1 are to compensate for the my sort of retreat on the trade deal, but it's also the fact that I'm relying a lot on commercial zones in order to kind of keep my empire running, and upgrading commercial zones take crystals, so I'm trying to anticipate a future demand. Surely we can find a spot for you. I hope this works. Alright, Djomar. Got a little bit of everything here. But we'll start by improving... I kind of made the wrong choice here about the... Actually, you know what? Let's switch. So if we got alloy foundries here, clearly we had problems with civilian industries. So let's convert that before we get too locked into a certain path. We've already got our stock exchange. So here, let's say you get crystal plants. That gives me 1 left over. There's 4 free jobs here. I mean, again, I could potentially upgrade all of these alloy foundries, but that would potentially make me quite sad. I actually don't know what to do with a specialist. So Gigamoja, let's just take a look at worlds with employment. Oh, you're kidding me. I think it was... I know I had an unemployed specialist somewhere. Alright, that gives him a fighting chance, I suppose. Oh, it looks like Wolaeus is in the same boat. Thing is, I don't need more researchers. Or sorry, I need more researchers, I don't need more alloys. It's what I can make, though, so... I suppose with that in mind, well, it's already a mega forge, so let's not rock the boat too much on that one. I wish I could do something different, but let's change our refinery world. Get a new city district. Unemployment, Jesus Christ. Yeah, the unemployment's pretty bad. I think at this point, I do kind of need to declare Chapter 11 and automate all of my colonies. So just make sure it's the type of world that I want. Oh! They built an interstellar assembly. I really hope that the... I really hope the AI doesn't mess with this too much. Thari Maelstrom. Let me make sure I got this right. Oh no, this isn't me. Alright, so they're trying to do what I'm doing. Right, okay, so I was in the process of automating all of my worlds. Bureaucratic Center, yes. Forge World, yes. An Industrial Ecumenopolis. This is silly. This is a research Ecumenopolis. This is fine. That's fine. Okay, Tech World. Definitely an industrial world. And actually it's just about to be paved over, so it looks like our problems are more or less solved. This is fairly characterized as a refinery world. I guess this counts as a forge world? Yeah, I actually have a surprising number of refinery worlds now that I think of it. This is definitely still a bureaucratic center. So I feel like I should be investing more in tech here. So I get 3 new jobs. I've got 9. Oh, but I've got 9 positions available already. That's why that hasn't gone up. All right. God. You know what? No, the AI's got to figure out what to do with this and how to keep this an agri world. This is the nice thing about giving this to another specialist. This I definitely want as a mining world. So the good news is that it's the selections. I mean, it's not super surprising. I think. So do I still want this to be a generator world? Probably not. No, technicians output 20%. That is a meaningful improvement. So. What do you think this is? Yeah, okay, I can see this as a mining world. I don't see any sense in the Paradise Dome anymore. Oh no, I know the sense in the Paradise Dome. Yeah, this counts as a refinery world. I guess it's a forge world? It's certainly not yeah, it's not really producing anything else. The Forge Worlds were... You like the Vul Umu insignia, just nice. Yeah, they're my enemies, unfortunately, so I'm not allowed to say too many nice things about them, but... Okay, so this says it's a mining station. This means miners' output. Okay, but it's all trade districts, so there's no possible reason for me to keep this way. So let's say this is more trade-focused. They're very obvious about what they're about. Yeah, I think this counts as a refinery station. Foundry station, almost certainly. Although could technically count as a... Oh, but it's not a station, yeah. Yeah, this is a little bit of everything. I hate it when the worlds look like this. Definitely a tech world. In fact, I'd kind of want to specialize a little bit more given the fact that there's bonuses to physics research, but let's not go too crazy. I don't see any reason why I shouldn't be unpaused here. Definitely generator world. I suppose under protest a generator world, although I did go crazy and invest more in terms of food. This is listed as a bureaucratic center, which I would normally like, but it doesn't give me any bonus towards the production of administrative cap. It actually, so in this case I'm gonna make this a generator world with administrative part. Oh, actually, I also just thought of a way that I can make better use of my of my alloys as well. Surveyor activated. We have swept our space with a strong scanning beam of the Surveyor relic, and a previously unknown resource deposit has been identified on JX4-140. Again, another trade node's not the most exciting thing I could get right now, but acceptable. Good on... If I have to, I suppose. You know what, yeah, you can auto pick whatever you want there. Alright, so the AI, this is now the AI's responsibility. Hopefully I get to focus a little bit more on big picture
Research
stuff.
concluded.
Over time, as my influence starts going up, I think I am going to start using my embiggening powers. More aggressive information campaigns, improve the populace's responsiveness to edicts. Let's say you are... Okay, better army damage. So what I'd like to kind of focus on now is... I feel a little silly doing this, but I am going to put down an anchorage. Every little bit helps.
Research concluded.
New developments in tech cooling regularly surface, improving the stability and efficiency of our weapon systems, keeping them from blowing up the ships on which they are mounted. The cheapest is either shield or weapon damage, so we'll do the damage first. And cross-linking weapon systems to fire in staggered volleys improves the actual damage output of military stations over time. And looks like explosive weapons are my cheapest tech, so we'll pick that one next. So right now I just want to see if there's any 230 stacks that can be upgraded. So I have some idle construction ships, but that's sort of to be expected at this point. There's not a whole lot for them to do. I could consider trying to build a strong... Yeah, actually, our armies are not as strong as they could be. That's going to have a... There's definitely going to be a cost associated with that, but it's one that I'm willing to bear, because I feel like I need to be able to throw my weight around a bit. Okay, so let's take a look at... First of all, can I... No, I cannot hire any more Titanic beasts. So, what I'm going to do here, I think it was the Eskmike system. I know one of these had, like, 3 planets. Right. So what I'm going to do here, let's do 10 each. Well, that was unexpected. Who's not upgrading right now? The ocean, the stream, and the anchor.
Red alert.
I mean, they're kind of
they're
taking back their stuff, right? But esteemed chairwoman Calais Six Sheets, a decade ago, Djomar Limited pledged to support the artisan troupe, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we'd be remiss not to ask, would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? It's a deal. Oh, Ecumenopolis, Delcor Prime encased. Layers upon layers of urban sprawl eclipse the globe's crusts, and it is done. A scant few years have passed since the start of this grand project, but it was already difficult to recall what the surface of Delcor Prime looked like. Verdant, rugged, it is all steel now, miles in every direction. A place once molded by chance and unthinking laws of nature, now a design wrought from indomitable purpose. And while I suspect that this is horrifying to the eyes of Sin, who has a tremendous love of nature, in fact, an infectious love of nature, because I have really come to appreciate it a lot more, you know, in talking with her and just sort of hearing what some of this means to her, I still think this is a really cool looking model. Yeah, so presumably they are going to just crank out a whole bunch of new sectors when the time comes. Also, I would like... Are you kidding me? Why are we so short on food? I mean, at this point, I'll just buy 200. I'm assuming this has to be something to do with... oh, okay. I'm assuming this has to be... Good God. Oh, hang on. I didn't want to do that. So the solution that I had... it's a little late now, but... under sector... Oh, wow. I can't do that, actually. Oh, this is funny. So whenever I've had deficits, I've actually been sending a monthly amount to the Grand. All right. No reason to be paused for this.
Ship upgrades applied.
I believe there's actually a way that I can, yeah, so I can do a bunch of automation here as well, but I think that would be a bridge too far for me.
Construction completed.
Looks like they're making good use of it. So it looks like, okay, yeah, so they're going to try and throw their weight around. We've got one set of shit. Okay, well, that's fine. We're still ready to meet. I mean, they've got 3 groups, so ideally my guys hold back until their buddies show up, but we can
Knowledge
slow
is
this
the
down and
key
watch
to the
magic
universe.
happen. I really should have paid closer attention to what was going on here because I may wind up losing some ships. On the other hand, we also have really terrifying ships, so... High war exhaustion. We have reached 100% war exhaustion in at least one of our wars. We can be forced to make peace 24 months after reaching high exhaustion, and not a moment too soon, frankly. Iterating on standard conditioning regimen for ground troops has proven to make them more effective in direct combat. Let's say... Oh god, I didn't even do the army recruitment. So, bonus damage, the chemical reaction tightly controlled by missile board microprocessors. Warhead detonations can be tuned for maximum effect for local conditions at the time of impact. The cavalry has a... Oh my god, what are you guys doing here? I really did not want those guys to show up. I actually don't know how that works. But clearly I messed up somewhere. Okay, we'll see what we wind up losing. It looks like we lost 5 destroyers and a corvette. So 5 destroyers, corvette, and cruiser. Okay. And actually for that I'm just going to get the Juggernaut to... Of course, remembering we went into these spots specifically because we were chasing the our enemies. So, okay, governor's leveled up, and yes. Also looks like we have a deficit of some kind. So it looks like a whole bunch of territory changed hands here. So let's see what happens. So peace offer. The greatest Wani polity made peace with the divine Pozjuk state. Let's consider... Okay, so greatest Wani... Looks like they... I'm trying to find out what they actually got out of it. It does look like they... Jurgshurgen. Okay, what about Trijam? Lovely. Okay, Yunduk. Oh yeah, right here, Yunduk. I'm surprised they don't have Tiamat. Or that wasn't added. They added. Oh, okay, maybe that's the 5 more. All right, too complicated. And it's the anchor that's going to need those. So. I don't actually want to cause any more problems for the... Well, okay. Here's what we're going to do. We'll heal the groups. So the stream is actually kind of a slush fleet right now. So with that in mind, we can actually use them. If that's true, then we can use them for replacement parts. So we will take out a cruiser and 5 destroyers. And I messed it up. Okay, so this is Weg 3 from. So the idea here is that the replacement ships are going to be built by the Juggernaut. Everybody is going to be heading to a place to repair. And then the Breach and the Anchor will be able to combine. Oh, I forgot the Corvette. So again, the idea here has been to try and make it so that the try and make it so that I keep as many full 230 stacks as I can. All right, I'm going to need to start using my influence before too long. Oh, Pest Meta Djomari, the last haul, you would not believe it. Crates and crates overflowing with munitions, cubic tons of it. Come, please, look. What can you offer us? You need energy credits, do you not? To zap and spark along the million circuits that drive your kind. We can assist. With the racket generator regulators, we can heighten the capacity of your tech drones to interface with the machines in your generator districts by 25%. We will deploy them on Sol Prime if you grant us a small favor. We have run afoul of some legalities, minor details, very trivial, but we would require some witness, some support. Would your strong and wise nature vouch for us poor trustworthy traders? Very innocent, whose only mistake was a distraction of the mind, a mere oversight that led to the transgression of some pesky legislature? So this will cost me 70 influence in order to get a 25% bonus on technicians. Now, unfortunately, this is applied to Sol. I would... Hey, Nitrogen99, how you doing? I would actually prefer it if I could put it on one of my better generators, but beggars can't be choosers at this point. I'm actually a little dismayed at how slow time is going, because I really just want to get to the bit where I win. Oh, I said I was going to recruit a whole bunch of armies.
Research concluded.
Rightfully belongs to us, Divine Posdok State has audaciously laid claim to the Miram system. Well, they are welcome to try. I gotta remember who... Right, these guys are brutal, so... And, I mean, these are clone armies, so we're just gonna throw a mass of bodies at them. Thought I had a slightly better one, but... Let me just double check that I don't have that race. I don't think I have that race on that planet, but... No, I do. Okay. Perfecting the firing cadence of laser weaponry is a task that could keep the engineering elite of any given planet busy for centuries. In this case, we'll build shields, again, just for the lack of expense. And I have a feeling we're really just waiting... we have to wait for the greatest Wanipality to bleed out. We're at 39%, so this
Ship
is
upgrades applied.
Quite literally holding up all the wars. Why can't my ships just do what I ask them to? Yeah, so it looks like Posdok is going pretty heavy on these. I think at this point I'm just going to wait until the borders are open, either through declaration of war or through other means. Also, it looks like I'm getting near my cap on influence, so let's start embiggening worlds. Looks like the AI is doing no better of a job of dealing with unemployment than I am. I gotta be a little careful, like the costs can creep up. But I think maybe go down to half influence is fine. And then if the AI still screws up employment, I mean, I don't know what to do then. So clearly, if I can't handle it and the computer can't handle it, then we're just in permanent unemployment. I'm mildly curious whether or not this number is going to go down.
Research concluded.
It may actually be that the presence of this ship, or of these, this fleet is still not sufficient to discourage piracy. That is ridiculous. Additional layers of armor plating within structure itself improves the resilience of military stations. Let's do more missiles. Also, for some reason, I either lost Titans or I never had them and the game was just messing with me. Alright, so here I'm happy to just sort of slap them around a little bit here.
Research concluded.
Sadly, I'm going to have to sell my alloys at a price much lower than I think is appropriate. The most crucial feature of the initial stage of the interstellar assembly is the locus, a sophisticated holographic projection of a black hole. It is meant to evoke the gravitational chasm that lurks in the galactic core, the fulcrum upon which the galaxy turns. Once fully built, this place will also be an axle of sorts, around which the quiet diplomacy and soft power that often drive the galaxy swirl. Alright. So this is a great opportunity for me to spend some alloys. I should caution, I'm getting close to wrapping up for tonight, as much as I would love to keep going. I do actually have to upload the Morrowind episode, and I can't do that while I'm streaming. Alright, so let's see if I can get the anchor and the breeze to finally combine. Oop. More aggressive conditioning. I think for the next little while I'll just hold off reading some of the flavor text if I've read it a few times this session. Okay, so the wind's kind of doing its best to contribute. Oh, you know what? I should have... Oh. The Bodronide High Kingdom. We no longer see any reason to keep you locked out of our territory. Our borders are open to you again. So I believe these folks I am still guaranteeing their independence. My hope, of course, is that they do declare their independence from the Cooperative of Menjusana. That gives me an excuse to go to war with them. But I suspect what'll be happening is I'll take whatever opportunity comes up when the... I did not realize I had more than one construction ship. I suspect what'll probably happen is I'll just need to wait for my allies to settle status quo, and then just initiate the war myself. I forgot to upgrade. I don't even remember what this was supposed to be combining with. So Coast's on the wrong side. Crest of Waves is also on the wrong side. Dark Abyss, they've got 20 destroyers. I'm pretty sure this one has got... Alright, so who's missing the cruiser? No one here.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
The motion passed. The basic mechanics of ship shields are complex, but they can be adjusted and improved in a multitude of ways. So everything is even. I'm going to do the energy credits. We've got the enemy of my enemy. I actually don't remember what that resolution does, but we can consult it really quick. I seem to remember it was one that I liked. So the enemy of my enemy grants the counterattack casus belli on empires that are not galactic community members and are in an offensive war against a galactic community member. Right. We are in support of preserving the Tianki. Holy crap! I did not realize.
Is the key to the universe.
My okay, actually, I am a little curious about this. So I'm going to take a minute here and actually calculate the influence. So obviously these are 237.4. This is in thousands, so it's going to be imprecise. But I should be able to This is hard to do within Steam, but not impossible. Although I don't think you guys can see it, unfortunately. Apparently, no, that can't be right. Wow, okay. So this actually gives me a really good reason to try and get those extra envoys. So I account for 46.9, approximately 46.9 of the diplomatic weight in the in sort of the Galactic United Nations. Advances in miniaturization allow for more rapid loading and discharging of rocket-propelled payloads. Let's get you to boost the strike craft attack speed. Alright, so yeah, I'm short on exotic gases, which is a shame, and rare crystals, which is a shame. I might be able to buy... So I can definitely buy my way out with the rare crystals. I should be able to manage exotic gases, although I am kind of curious what the AI is going to do with it. Space Storm, Shulgar dissipates. As quickly as it appeared, Space Storm, Shulgar has completely dissipated. Ship systems will no longer be impaired by those systems where subspace disturbances had manifested. Although some speculate storms such as Shulgar could lead to the eventual collapse of the hyperspace network thousands of years in the future, for now space travel seems to have returned to normal. I'm kind of thinking this might be an endgame event, but it's not one I've encountered before.
Research concluded.
Careful tuning of pain receptors allows soldiers to fight through what would previously have been debilitating injuries. Again, we go for the cheap tech where we can. In this case, administrative capacity is going to...
Ship upgrades
Oh, actually, we're
applied.
already within parameters. Okay, sail is upgraded, which is good. Again, at this point, really, we're just waiting for the borders to open. Or the war to finish. I don't think the war is going to finish. After selling 1,000 alloys a month, we are still generating 2K now. I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing I can use them for. Clearly, our planner worked very well. Also, I have no idea how the AI pulled this off, but we have successfully chewed through 1,000 minerals. So let's not get reckless with the food supply. I don't know why I didn't just use Chef for that. And it pains me to do so, but let's just throw a few more alloys on the pile. I can only assume that this is strengthening my enemies, but I suppose that's life.
Research concluded.
Circulating excess heat from weapons discharge in order to prime munitions as they are loaded increases the rate of fire for strike craft weaponry. Again, we're sort of in the holding pattern, making ourselves better as we wait for sort of the events in the galaxy to resolve themselves. I could, of course, take a more active role inside of this war. The problem is that, like, so this is kind of... Federations add so much, and I'm really, really happy with
Research
this
concluded.
DLC. The real shame, though, is the way that sort of the AI fights work in the case of wars like this. Like, this is a war that's preventing me from being able to do the things that I want. And unfortunately, what's basically happening here is it's very clear that the AI is not going to be able to achieve its war goals. It could try and claim as much as it wants with a settled status quo, but I don't have any way of nudging it on that. I can't say, like you could say in multiplayer, hey, could we wrap this up? I really want to subjugate the cooperative of Menjusana. They used to be an advanced start, and you know, it will more or less seal the doom of the Divine Pozjok state as well, and allow me to incorporate the Neborite Republican territories as well, either by force or diplomatically. We're at war with them now, so I'm going to assume that they're probably not going to be too keen on the diplomatic vassalization. But we had that option before that stupid war happened. But, you know, the AI is not... I have no way of communicating that to my ally. My ally is just going to say, well, you know, you never know what happens. Let's see this thing through to the end. And they're just going to wait until their war exhaustion's up to 100%. Now, of course, I could try and come in and bring an early end to the war. But again, that means that I'm going to have to take over every single world. And more importantly, I don't actually want my allies to become that much more stronger. So this is me being a bad ally, but... as it is, I'm sort of stuck in a little bit of a quagmire. Minor improvements to transmission efficiency add up to sizable reductions in overall energy loss. Let's say shield hit points. I normally go aggressive, but it's nice to change things up every once in a while. Mind you, once the wars are done, I'm gonna do some exciting things. Okay, they count as suspicious. I think. Well, I guess I can't send an envoy. I was thinking I should send an envoy to try and improve relations with these guys. Zydrons display psionic potential. Latent psionic powers have begun to manifest in certain individuals belonging to the Zydron species. According to leaked reports from authorities and the Zydron Free Traders, this must be a fairly recent development, since we have no record of Zydrons ever displaying psionic abilities on life. According to the leaked reports, these powers are so far limited to a very small minority of Zydron species as a whole. Scientists in the Zydron Free Traders have offered no explanation. Their sorcery will not be enough to save them. Here is hoping they don't invoke the end of the cycle. Hey guys, we're losing. We need a hand.
Research concluded.
Restructuring the managerial web linking core worlds to the capital can help alleviate the administrative stressors and information choke points that frequently arise within a budding empire. Let's go for extra food. Again, I am not at all worried about the Divine Pozjok state claiming my territories. If anything, what I want to be doing here is vassalizing territories whole. But easier said than done. Although I think in their case I can actually... Yeah, I could offer them subsidiary status. Are we still... Yeah. Here's a better question. Who do we not completely overwhelm? Wow, okay. Yeah, the Raxar entity is actually starting to kind of creep up on me a little bit. I want to be careful about that. I need to at least be able to maintain that that edge for the next 60 years or so. If I could get through the Menjusanin
Construction
territory, I could
completed.
finish off the Horizon Signal. Unfortunately, I have to go to war for that. I suppose in the worst case scenario too, if I ever got too worried about the Raxar entity, I could kick them out of the Federation because they get 2,200. Oh, Jesus. The AI is doing everything it can to piss off my vassalization target. Alright, well, that's life.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
We swept our space with a strong scanning beam of the Surveyor Relic, and a previously unknown resource deposit has been identified on F2909L. So that's 5 extra physics. At least gives my construction ship something to do. And compressing suitable materials into ultra-dense forms is a cheap and efficient way to improve the ability to absorb weapon-grade impacts. Let's go for minerals, because it looks like whatever the AI is doing, it's very expensive. Although, again, minerals in and of themselves are not that useful. May I express surprise that the things that I actually told it
Knowledge
to
is the
build
key
were not
to
built?
the universe. War has been declared.
Oh, come on. Please tell me it's not between our guys. Okay, we didn't see anything change here. Transgenic crops offer the nutritional elements of several standard food crops in one convenient package. And we will do extra edict duration. Oh, Jesus. All right. So this was the war that I was waiting to finish before to be able to subjugate these guys. So the Divine Pazjok state declared... Oh, wait, no. Okay, these guys are still enemies because of the other war. But yeah, it's very clear here I'm not going to be able to vassalize them, and
Research
I probably
concluded.
shouldn't be trying. Basic mechanics of ship shields are complex, but they can be adjusted and improved in a multitude of ways. Attack speed. Mega Shipyard Framework. The first stages of our Mega Shipyard is now complete. A vast framework awaits the installation of manufacturing bays, which will one day make this facility the shipbuilding capital of the galaxy. Let's keep going for it. Apparently we can only have 2 of these things going at once. I'm a little nervous about the mineral situation, so it's not like I have a lot of money to throw around on this, but traders steer clear of gang wars. The ongoing struggle of the gangs on Uglesdatch has had a negative impact on the moon's trade. With the volatile situation on the surface, several interstellar merchant guilds have issued a travel advisory warning to traders to stay away from the moon. The trafficking of illegal arms seems to be booming, however. Alright, now this sort of stuff I would have hoped. Oh, this is really interesting. We don't actually have crime, but we have... Alright, I won't question it. Alright, so 4K isn't exactly the strongest army that I could amass, but I also don't want to spend too much on maintenance, because as you notice, my energy credits are starting to plummet. That might be a problem for next week, because I am at the half-hour overtime mark, and I was really hoping that there'd be something a little more exciting happening. At the very least, I was hoping we could maybe get to 2450, but I think there's a couple things that I'm going to do. So obviously here we just need to wait for this thing to tick down. I mean, in the worst case scenario, as long as
Research concluded.
there isn't anything too dramatic that happens. Christ almighty, why are you... I don't understand why it's throwing me into such a debt. Changes in how mineral deposits are evaluated relative to each other lead to more efficient boring patterns. So we can do explosive weapons, kinetic weapons, or defense platforms. Let's do kinetics. So long as... So, I mean, we had one Fallen Empire wake up, and we got rid of them right away. This is, of course, why there's a nasty gap in between the two systems. But we strangled them in the cradle. Now, my understanding is that when that happens to the AI, it makes it much more likely that another Fallen Empire is going to wake up. And in fact, as far as Fallen Empires are concerned, I believe we have 2 robotic ones. Although apparently everything is pathetic relative to me now, so it's hard to tell sometimes.
Knowledge is the key to the universe.
Oh, I was wrong. So ancient caretakers and keepers of knowledge. So this might mean that the contingency comes up.
Completed.
I haven't actually done the contingency, but more aggressive information campaigns improve the populace's receptiveness to edicts. But I was actually going into some of the insides of Stellaris, and it looks like there is something tied to those caretakers in the contingency, which would be interesting. But yeah, so I mean, the worst case scenario, you know, I wait a while and we just get closer. All right, the Tianqi Conservation Act pretty much is guaranteed to pass, seeing as two council members support it. Yeah, basically, it's not the end.
Concluded.
It's not the end of the world if we just, you know, tick on by and there isn't any kind of like major crisis that comes up. My worry is that because my allies have sort of sucked us into this quagmire, and I'm not able to sort of unite the galaxy under my banner through vassalization or, you know, taking over the Federation. If there is some big bad that shows up, it's all going to fall on my very strong fleets, and essentially the weaker empires are just going to become this fuel for a massive, like a massive invasion force, which is overwhelming for my forces. But again, we'll see how that all turns out. New developments in tech cooling regularly surface, improving the stability and efficiency of our weapon systems, keeping them from blowing up the ships on which they are mounted. If I had my preference, I would actually still be building more ships, but as you can see, we're well over our naval capacity, we're well over our starbase capacity, and we're actually starting to fall a bit in terms of our energy credits, although the good news is that our stockpile, it's still positive and we're close to the cap on our stockpile. So we can sort of afford to push the limits. I will admit, this is exactly why I was scared of letting the AI take over my empire, because it seems like it's running deficits all over the place that I don't want them to. I mean, I'm certainly able to make more progress than Galactic veto called. The Cooperative of Menjusana has called their council veto and failed the resolution. Ah, they didn't want me to... right. That was my ally that they... or sorry, their ally that I was being mean to. All right. this point, I just want to see if there's anything I can call.
Research concluded.
So it says weak support, diplomatic weight from economy, 80% bureaucrat upkeep, naval capacity -50. Yeah, so that would actually wind up hurting me a bit. Environmental ordnance, habitability goes down, alloys, minerals, build speeds. I mean, that would all be great. This would be perfect for me, actually. Galactic market, ban sentient. Interesting. I didn't even think that you could buy and sell robots. Ultra-dense slugs can punch through even the strongest of projected shields. Let's say kinetic weapon attack speed. Elections are in progress. Select a candidate to support or spend influence to keep our current ruler for another term. If we do not interfere, a random candidate will be selected. So we will abstain. And it is Kalig 6 sheets again. And we've got Ambition Scientific Revolution. So this is the thing that's absurd about these. So I can actually enact every single one of these policies, and it doesn't really matter because the amount of unity that I am generating over the time that these things last, I will always have this number go up. Which is one of the biggest improvements I can... Good God. I hope that number changes next month when the policies kick in. Yeah, so this was definitely one of the efficiencies that I could work on for my
knowledge is the key to the universe.
Regimens of periodic cell revitalization treatments keep the leader class spry and active beyond traditionally expected lifespans. Again, this Kix the Brilliant is effectively researching his own immortality at this point. Nerve dampeners are the only other tech, and yeah. So at this point, I think it's just going to be sort of the same pattern over and over again. I am most worried about the state of strategic resources right now. It seems that the AI has absolutely no interest in making things balance out. And I can sort of see its point because we've got thousands in reserve and it's, you know, single digits a month at a time when we have 66 years left in the game. But it still makes me feel pretty uncomfortable to see those numbers. But I'll have to live with it, I think. For next steps, I mean, it's really the same thing, right? And unless the AI decides that it wants to settle status quo, I'm going to need to sit and wait. Once the war is done, I have to do things in a very specific order. So what I want to do is I want to change the laws to have strongest succession type and then succession term status change. I believe my diplomatic weight in the Federation is such that nobody can really question me on this. At that point, I mean, really, it's just a question of how I assign my envoys to try and make the... you know, make sure that the experience goes up at a decent clip so that I can get the bonuses of level 5. So what that'll give me is, in addition to higher trade value, crisis factions, big deal, if they come up. Oh wow, actually it's 15%. So that's nice. And then of course, if I feel like it, I can sort of dip into the naval capacity of my
Research
allies.
concluded.
Perfecting the firing cadence of laser weaponry is a task that could keep the engineering elite of a given planet busy for centuries. Everything costs the same, so we'll go for energy credits. And minor technical advances combined with improved shipboard routines for the handling of munitions to provide a noticeable boost in the fire rate. And... defense platform damage first. So while I'm waiting for that to happen, basically once that happens, then I want to give the Cooperative of Mendusana an offer they can't refuse. What? The Vandate of Vula Umu decided to declare the Fallen Empire their rival. I really hope
Ship
these guys don't
upgrades
wake up.
applied.
I don't want to fight them. More importantly, I don't think I can fight them. I didn't even realize there were these ships were kicking around here. I just kind of took React and said, oh, that was fun. But yeah, so basically, I want to mess around with my Federation first once we're in peace. Then I want to give Cooperative of Menjusana an offer they can't refuse. That will give me a border against the Divine Pozjok state. This always happens right at the time that I have another big project to do. The second stage of the Interstellar Assembly, the Consul Ring, is now complete. The Inner Circle will house most of our diplomatic staff going forward. So we'll assemble that. I'm also just going to take a quick minute and make sure the rest of these aren't sitting idle. So, good. 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 Right, I think we're ready to go. Oh, I have energy that I need to spend. Well, we are currently running a deficit of minerals, so let's stockpile. That's not exactly... Well, I mean, it would have been kind of fun to kick them around a little bit, but I was hoping not to lose the Corvettes. But yeah, so during peacetime I'm going to be messing around with my Federation a little bit, basically just to try and turn them into sort of de facto vassals. If I can vassalize the Cooperative of Menjusana, this gives me expansion options to the Divine Pozjok state, as well as possibly the Sidron Field Free Traders. It also gives me even more weight within my Federation. Careful tuning of pain receptors allows soldiers to fight through what would previously have been debilitating injuries. And then, of course, the really big thing for me is that even if so, whether or not I incorporate them, one of the things I really want to do in vassalizing these folks is get them to a point where they're getting better technology. So that way, if we do have to deal with some kind of massive endgame crisis, we're in a position where there are multiple high-strength fleets that are coming after them. Like, if we take a look at what the Raxar entity's packing, they're still, like, they're fleets that are not yet in the... okay, this one is actually 114k.
Research concluded.
That's a single fleet like that, whereas the Metron Conserviers will have multiple fleets. All right, before I go, let's get a little bit of influence spent. So this is just going to be embiggening some worlds. Obviously, I just spent a bunch of energy credits, and we're a little bit short on the rate at which we're growing. But being able to get access to more resources is never a bad idea. Alright. And cross-linking weapon systems to fire in staggered volleys improves the actual damage output of military stations over time. And looks like we're stuck with explosive weapons damage because it's the cheapest. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. I think what I'll probably do as far as my resources are concerned is I will either buy or earn my way up to the caps, and then we'll start playing around in the marketplace a little bit more. In really desperate circumstances, I suppose I can just, intervene and straight up buy stockpiles of really rare resources. I'd rather not do that, though. All of this stuff I actually kind of need. at least over the long run. So I think it's pretty clear here that I can't... Oh, also, I forgot I've got an extra envoy. So right now, I'll assign them to the Federation just to boost the experience gain. Eventually, I'm going to put them towards the number 8 Republican territory so that I can have a hope of incorporating them again. But yeah, next week we will be crashing on into the end game. I think probably what I'm going to wind up doing here is I'll be playing a little bit like I have now, where I'm going to let the AI control a bit more, unless it's really driving the Empire into the ground, at which point I'll take over a couple planets again and just try and, work my way to something a little bit more sane as far as the exotic gases or something like that goes. But by and large, I think really at this point we're going to wait until... At this point, I really don't have any other options but to sit in a holding pattern until the war is done. And then at that point, I can be a little bit more muscular in my diplomatic moves. And I don't know, it'll be a little more fun. I don't know how much enjoyment people get out of watching these holding patterns, because there's not as much for the game to do. Just a quick reminder for those of you who are on the fence about Stellaris but think you're willing to dip your toe into it, there is a humble bundle right now, the Best of Paradox. At the bottom tier you get Age of Wonders 3, which I think is a really worthwhile game. The higher tier you get Stellaris. I think it's about $9 Canadian. At an even higher tier, you get Tyranny and Battletech, which are probably my two favorite Paradox published but not internally developed games, although obviously the relationship between Paradox and Harebrained Schemes grew over the course of development for Battletech. And then finally, if you were interested in Imperator Rome, I believe it's about $20-something in the bundle. I mentioned that because if you scroll down to the stream, or if you're watching on YouTube, I'll include a link. I do have a Humble affiliate link. If you use that, particularly if you do use that, there is an option. You need to select it, and it's optional, and they sort of hide it. But just before you go to checkout, there's a little arrow that you can push, and it will allow you to decide where to allocate your money. Now, you can do that including putting the dollar value to me 0, particularly if you're giving it to charity or if you're giving it to Paradox. Of course, Paradox has given me a key for Stellaris as well as all of its DLC, with the exception of humanoids and plantoids. I bought those on my own. They've obviously been very good to me, so I do encourage you to make sure that the developers are rewarded for their efforts. I mean, the point of Humble Bundle is to put it towards charity, so I hope you're putting some towards that. But if you do decide to put some towards me, my big one on this is that Humble kind of automatically selects a tip for themselves in that optional section, and I would much rather folks make a decision in terms of where their money is going rather than some default setting. I don't like it when people sort of take up the claim of doing charitable works and then they kind of angle it in such a way that they benefit primarily from it. So that's a little bit of advice for you there. I should also mention too, I mean, my preferred affiliate program is honestly the Epic Store. I know not everybody necessarily likes it, but there is a rather good sale going on. And in fact, some of the games with the best discounts have gotten a boost towards the revenue share that I get. So especially if you've got one of those coupons left over, it's not a bad time to use them. I picked up Warlords of New York for the Division 2. I think it wound up costing me about $11, so I am certainly very fond of it. But I don't know, it was worth remembering that. And one thing I will say, the last couple of weeks, I've noticed that the Stellaris streams have kind of gotten a little... The shine seems to have kind of worn off. I think the numbers are down a bit. Although I've also noticed that a lot of the Stellaris streamers I like to watch have also seemed to have had a little bit of a dip in terms of their viewership. So it might be that there's just something else that people are interested in. But if you are interested in seeing more Stellaris, I know that maybe because the Djomar Limited playthrough is getting getting close to the end, it's maybe not quite as exciting as it was at the start. But this is useful feedback. I made the mistake here of saying this at the end rather than the start. But obviously, if you would like to see more Stellaris, do let me know, because I'm definitely thinking when this one is done, I would like to change things up a bit in terms of what I'm doing on Mondays. I think it'll be a positive thing, but if I don't hear that feedback, then it's not necessarily going to be the best, it's not necessarily going to be it's not necessarily going to be in line with what you folks want. Anyways, I'm very happy to say that No Virtue is streaming Stellaris right now. So I'm going to stop talking. I highly encourage you guys to stop by, because No Virtue is very different from my style of Stellaris. She's very capable at the game. She's also a science fiction author, which I think is wonderful. Very capable at the game, plays on high difficulty. She's actually been on some of the Paradox sort of streamer battles. So I cannot think of a better person to hand you folks off to. Do feel free to use the raid message, "We're tired of System Talker, this place was better." Check her out, follow her if you haven't, particularly if you like Stellaris. As for me, I am going to be back Wednesday for a live cast. Tomorrow I'm going to be uploading the Morrowind episode tonight, so I'm going to try and have that ready to go for 7. And then Friday we have a new game, or at least coming back to an old game. So if you want to see what the mystery game is, you will have to wait until then. Until next time, have a good evening, and we'll see you next time. Oh, wait a minute. I've got like 10 seconds to let the raid go through. So the numbers are slowly moving up. But I do encourage you guys, do join that raid. I think No Virtue is very good at Stellaris. I encourage you guys to check it out. So anyways, here we go. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.